Party tonight.
Welcome back, everybody, to Tabletop Notch. This is chapter 23.
This music is freaking me out.
I know.
What's freaking you out?
Music.
Oh, yeah.
Things are
It's
stewing.
nighttime in Mukmu. A little mood
Things are
music.
stewing.
I don't like it.
It's the things are stewing music.
Oh
Yeah.
no, no stew.
It's the you don't know what's in the stew yet,
I don't want
but it's
stew.
in the stew.
Like stew.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna get started. Anybody want to give me shout-outs, thoughts, quips, quotes, life advice?
Oh, wow.
Advice? I don't know, just trying really hard.
I cleaned and chopped up vegetables for the week, and it felt great.
Got
First
'em.
time I ever did it.
Meal prep. Roll that
I
intro.
think that's good. It's a bit cold. Your skin's cracking.
And we're in. In chapter 22, Wailing Spirits and Silent Gods, Erland and Graven sought out Orba at the arcane shop Trinketry, where Wadu was hard at work identifying the mysterious mask stolen from the Genie Temple days prior. Not wanting to take the risk of leaving Wadu unsupervised, Orba decided to wait while the rest of the party, sans Safira, made their way to the cemetery to see what had been troubling the caretaker. With time to kill before her meeting with the orphan boy Johnny, Safira did some digging for any information on the agitator Quentin Fenn, and while she came up empty there, she overheard an interesting bit of information regarding a Goliath presence in Mukmu, not limited to our resident cleric, Graven. Over in the cemetery, a burial service for a Tiefling named Marissa brought up new questions about who the woman was that attacked us on the road, near the Pucara River, and gravekeeper Yannick expressed his concerns about unruly spirits emerging at night from the graves. Yannick believed he could perform a ritual that would allow him to communicate with the spirits and ask what had driven them into such a restless state, but he needed protection as the ritual was likely to draw the spirits' ire. We agreed to meet him at midnight and headed back to the city square, where Orba had finished learning the powerful and dangerous properties of her mask. Erland and Graven made good on their promise to accompany her to a Nukelkian church for a bit of prayer, while Beezaura headed in the direction of a popular tavern in the Sun District, but was waylaid by a mysterious cloaked figure who flashed a light whistle chess piece and led her to a secluded back alley. There she was confronted by the enigmatic Lemonade Man, who warned Beezaura not to pursue the chess pieces any further while in Mukmu. Disappointed by a seemingly wasted effort to contact her gods, Orba left the Moon District in haste, and we reconvened at the Wet Dock, where we had a moment to eat and discuss our plans for the evening. Erland then followed Safira to the Scale House to meet with Johnny, and we learned a little more about Wesley, whose name had been popping up quite a bit in regards to acquiring illicit goods. After splitting up, Safira was flagged down by Jillian Casivo, who treated Safira to a drink while feeling out her commitment to the upcoming mission, and a possible deviation from the usual plan of blowing up the Myconid camps. Erland and Orba tracked down Melody at another, quieter tavern, where they made their boldest move yet in attempting to unravel the mysteries of Marvin Bishop and Grimari's grimoire. 300 gold in exchange for keys that would allow them to pass through the Natural Study Institute's back entrance. With the darkness of night upon us and time ticking away, it was time to make some tough decisions and ask ourselves, what kind of creatures would we need to fend off from Yannick's ritual? What kind of state were we going to find Marvin Bishop in at the Institute? And what kind of god has Graven walking on eggshells everywhere he goes? We find out now on chapter 23 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. At just past 10, the clamor of the main squares died down considerably. Most of the shops are closed to public, with the exception of Dina's smithy that had put in the extra hours to silver weapons for your midnight undead excursion. As you disconnect from the ambient glow of the forge, you see Dina cleaning up her space, wiping down surfaces, racking some iron tools, untying her apron. And Graven and Beezaura, somewhat in limbo, an hour or so to kill before needing to report to the Mukmu cemetery. Beezaura runs her fingers across the silver-coated, overlapping iron plates that protect the knuckles and palms of Erland's custom gloves. A couple of buckled straps jingling loosely off the side, waiting to be fitted to a willing fist. And they have a moment here in the night to decide where they're going.
Nice job they did on the gloves. Hopefully they're of use.
Hopefully they won't need too much use.
True. Do we need to do any more preparations?
Not that I know of, but what do we have? A couple of hours. Maybe we could ask around and see if anybody has any information on the other Goliath in town.
I'd be willing to help you out with that.
Thank you.
Where are you guys headed?
So we're at the...
You're like outside the smithy. You're kind of in the town
outside the
square.
smithy. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, Dina, that's right. The wet dock would still be open.
Yeah, most of the taverns would probably still be open at this hour.
Okay.
Did they tell me that? Did he even tell me that Safira
We
told
were
him
all
that?
there.
Told him what?
That I know about there's another Goliath. I was there.
Yeah, I think that was...
Yeah,
that was
she made
it.
a
It was
second
actually at the wet dock, I
announcement.
think.
It was at the wet dock, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they were off to the side.
We shared that.
Yeah. Since you heard about it at the wet dock, do you want to go back and ask around there?
Maybe some of the staff.
It's either the shops or the dock.
Plus it's on the way to the cemetery, so...
The shops are mostly closed at
Yeah.
this point, this hour.
I say let's go back and ask around.
Alright.
You guys start to move through the square. And for a brief moment out of the corner of her eye, Beezaura swears that she sees one of the Lemonade Man's hooded vagrants hovering near a crevice between two houses. But you turn your head quickly, and you face the spot. No such person there. A trick of the light, perhaps, or a wandering shadow cast by held lanterns from citizens moving through the streets. And you move a little further. And you get to sort of, you've passed a little ways through the square. And you get to where the reservation center is. It's sort of on your right as you're moving up north. And you see standing Sergeant Uriel with a couple of scribes holding what appear to be some small wooden chests and leather straps that they've looped over their shoulder for easy transport. And they seem to be having a polite conversation, sort of saying goodnight for the evening. It looks like one of them had sort of locked up the doors to the reservation center. And after an exchange of handshakes, the scribes head off in different directions, one way, one another way, possibly home for the evening. And you see Sergeant Uriel sort of linger for a moment. And he kind of looks around a little bit. And he takes something out of his pocket. And he does a quick scan to see if anyone's watching him. Are you watching him, and are you trying not to be seen watching him?
Yeah, I'll just kind of like keep an eye, like out of the corner of the eye.
I say
not staring
we
straight
probably
at him.
both like we glance at each other and then just
Yeah.
kind of like keep an eye on what he's doing.
Yeah.
Sure. Give me perception checks. Do either of you have night? You guys don't have dark vision, right?
Oh,
You're the
no.
We're the only two. We suck.
Go ahead.
Perception, you said?
20.
18.
Ooh.
Nice job.
You guys position yourself in a nice spot where there's still some people moving through the square, and there's enough sort of traffic to mask your peeping, but not enough to sort of obstruct your view. And you see Uriel take a note or a paper or something out of his pocket, and he takes a couple steps towards the door of the reservation center, but goes off to the side, and he stuffs it in a sort of shrub next to the reservation center, and he straightens up quickly, and he sort of pulls at his jacket, looks around, and begins to move off in another direction.
Just keep walking for a little bit.
Okay.
Keep an eye on him, though.
Do you want to get back and see what that was?
What's that?
Are you following Uriel?
No, I want to just kind of like keep going by. Have we kind of passed?
Yeah, you sort of.
Actively.
So the reservation center, which was on your right, is sort of like you're moving by it. It's kind of on your
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Let's go past and see if anyone comes right away to get it.
Perhaps because I'm so much more noticeable.
Do you want me to hide nearby?
Yes, you could try to grab whatever he did, and maybe I could stay in the square here for now and see if I can see where he heads.
Sure.
Okay.
So you're following. She's staying.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, we're in like a kind of an open area right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're
So-
You're sort of a little out of the main square, although most of it's shut down. The activity here is not. There's not a ton of people here. There's a few people moving here and there.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him if you grab.
And I like take a look around first to see if any, because I thought I saw someone back there. So can
Make
I
a perception
look
check.
Another.
And you make a stealth. Are you following him?
Yeah.
Sure. Make a stealth check.
around? 7.
Plus anything.
No, well it's 6 plus.
Oh, okay. 7 and
8.
8.
All right, not as good. Not as good.
You don't notice anyone sort of moving. I mean, you take a look around, and no one's approaching the reservation center or approaching you. So
Okay.
you don't notice that. And as Uriel's sort of moving, he seems to be a little fidgety, and he sort of takes some looks over his shoulder, and at one point he sort of looks and catches a glimpse of you, and he's met you before, and he sort of sees you, and you guys are probably 50 feet away, and he sort of tries to make eye contact with you. Gives you a polite nod. And he kind of moves off, and it looks like he might have changed course.
Okay.
Like he was headed in one direction. He doesn't do a 180, but he kind of goes in a different... It looks like now he's kind of headed in the direction of the wet dock, actually. He's sort of headed that way.
Yeah.
He was heading a little further north.
Recognizing that I've been marked. That was it. Stealth over.
Nailed it.
Never again.
As far as everyone knows, you crushed it.
Yeah, I'll just... Well, no, I'll hang back. I'll,
Just like what?
in the square area, yeah.
Are
just
you going
keep an eye on
to
her.
check what he did, or are you waiting to see if...
I'm gonna hang for like a minute.
Okay.
Or whatever, 20 seconds. See if anyone comes right away. And then
How long are you hanging for?
I'm gonna say 30 seconds.
Okay.
Like off. See if anyone comes, and then I want to try to like make it look like I'm gonna try to go in. Be like, oh, it's locked. Like they closed early.
Sure.
And
So
then-
30 seconds go by.
Yeah.
No one seems to show. No one has come to up. So make a performance check for me as you sort of walk up to the door inconspicuously.
At the time, I'm new. I didn't know. 11.
11. Okay. So you go up to the door and you kind of on the door, and so a person sort of walking by hears the noise, and they go, "It's closed.
Done. Thank you.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, I think."
Oh, great. Perfect.
And he moves off. Doesn't sort of linger at all.
And it's right there, right?
There's a number of shrubberies lining the thing, and you think you know exactly where he put it. Yeah.
I'm gonna just like in my cloak, sort of like put my hand down.
Squat and.
Well, I don't even have to squat. I'm probably as tall as the shrubbery. That's true. So I just like put my hand down and just feel it out, and
Yeah, you pick it up. There's a piece of parchment there that's folded.
Can I see her?
Yep.
should I read it or should I just take it? I'm gonna take it and just go
Okay.
because I'm a slow reader.
Sure.
It will.
Are you walking back over to Graven? You catch a sight.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
hard to see.
Kind of
Yeah,
meet
the
up
two
on
of
the
you
way
kind of
towards
meet
the wet dock,
in
yeah.
sort of fake walking towards that direction.
Yeah.
And are you peeking at the door now while you guys are walking?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Before
You
we
open
get
it up?
so many people.
And it's dark out, but the flickering lamp gives you enough to read it by, sort of subtly by your side. There's 3 names on it. Tristan Dakota.
Tristan Dakota.
And by Tristan Dakota's name, there's a number 70. Ashley Wella. And by Ashley's name, there's a number 70.
What's their rating?
Or what he wants it to be.
And then another name, Micah Denholm. Micah Denholm. And by
Denholm?
Denholm, Denholm. And by his name, 71.
Something about Micah.
I'm gonna kind of keep an eye, like glance back at to see if somebody is going to that spot.
Sure. You kind of lingering around.
Yeah. Well, just walking slowly.
Sure.
and, like, yeah.
Make another perception check.
Okay. 18.
18. So no one walks up to the reservation center, but you see someone get close, a cloaked figure, sort of get close, and seem like they slow and stop a little bit, and they look around. What are you doing as he's looking around?
Can I see his face?
Maybe if you wait for him to turn towards you.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to see what it is.
Okay. You making eye contact with him?
Sure. Oh my god.
He turns,
Oh my god.
and he looks, and you stand out in a crowd, and he kind of looks. You don't recognize his face. It's a human man. Seems like older, maybe in his late 40s, early 50s. Sort of a scraggy beard.
Okay.
And he kind of looks. And you don't do anything, so he
Yeah.
turns and walks away.
Okay. Yep. Looks like somebody went for it. I didn't recognize them, but he did see me.
Great.
What does it say?
I thought he saw it. Like, I saw it. It has the 3 names on it with, I'm guessing, other standings.
Ratings, yes.
Tristan Dakota, Ashley Wella, and Micah Denham. They must be...
They don't mean anything to me. Do they mean anything to you?
No. Must be civilians here.
I feel like we should get rid of this piece of paper.
Should I put it back?
No, it's too late for that.
Okay.
Burn it on honestly.
Should I eat it?
If you're hungry, I suppose. But otherwise, we should just burn it.
Sounds good, kid.
Are there like oil lamps and stuff around?
Sure, there's torches on the stone buildings.
I say get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just run up and just
You sort of.
dink it in there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. It doesn't take long. It's just a small piece of paper.
Yeah.
It spreads up.
Uriel's the one that usually notes the standings.
Yeah. Forget.
Standing
remind
Sergeant
me.
Early. He's the guy when you first went to the reservation center. He was in charge of
He
sort of
was
the
the one that
scribes,
was,
the
like,
books,
really-
and things.
The one
He
telling us
led you
not
to.
talk to the scribes.
Yes. He was the one who
Yes.
told you not to talk to the scribes.
Okay. Shady effer.
Why would he hide it like that if he's in charge of what he does?
name. And wherever.
If everyone knows that he's in charge of this, why would he feel like he has to hide it?
I imagine that these are either fake already or hoping to be faked. As in, these people don't actually have these standings. But he wants to put them at that. I don't know.
He's talked himself out of it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
So stupid.
no, Graven. I understand what you're saying. That maybe these are the fake standings for these people. He's trying to adjust them in a certain way that he has authority over.
Yes.
But I'll keep the names in mind, but let's continue to the laptop.
Yes, he's the one that would be in charge of whatever.
So, like, why would he?
I don't know.
And who was the man that showed up at the door?
I don't know.
What did he?
Middle-aged. Creepy. I don't know.
From his description, anything that he says, it doesn't sound
Not one of
familiar
them.
to you.
All right, let's go.
Did it look like he recognized? No, it didn't look like he
No.
recognized me,
No.
but he
Looked like
regarded
he
me.
saw that you
Yeah.
were watching.
That there was
him.
an orange,
Yes.
red-eyed Goliath, like, hello.
And there's not many around here.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys continue.
Yeah,
to
let's go on.
Great. And we'll go over to the entrance to the Water Lily, just outside the Water Lily, where Erland and Orba linger near the front entrance. Let me just get some music.
Lingering music.
Fanfare, please.
And they kind of weigh their options, huddling away from the light emanating from the windows, so Erland's face can be sufficiently obscured by his cloak, which I think you said your hood was still up. And a few more quiet folks, some of them dressed in robes that might be religious robes, trickle into the cavern. And Orba feels a hand gently touch her shoulder.
I immediately go to my bag.
Sure.
Okay.
How is it in there tonight? Have the gods seen it fit to bless us with good cheer this evening?
Yes?
Excellent. Mother Unkui has told me this is to be a night to remember. I hope so.
What do you mean? She told you what?
I prayed to the gods earlier today, and they said it was to be a lovely night.
That's it? That's all? Mother Unqui said that?
Yes?
To you?
Well, they don't speak so much, but I feel it.
Oh, okay. That's nice. I hope it to be true.
Have a lovely evening.
You too.
I was sort of standing in a way that he couldn't see me.
He didn't try to get your attention or anything.
Was that the guy from the...
It wasn't the same guy, as far as you can tell, yeah. Just someone.
Well,
Did you know that man?
nope, I have no idea who that is. But apparently the mother god spoke to him. Stupid. What are we doing? Are we going to case this place?
We should step away from the front of the water lily, evidently.
Of course.
So can I sort of like just move, I don't know if there's sort of just like just off to a side street a little bit.
Yeah, you can definitely walk to a sort of quiet. It doesn't take long, a block or so, to get to somewhere sort of quiet, secluded.
It's a little after 10?
Yeah, it's like just after 10.
I think we have to go tonight.
I agree.
Before the graveyard.
I think we should at least case it tonight and see what the situation is in terms of the amount of guards that are present in the perimeter. If there's a lot of them, though, we may need more help.
Maybe, but then again, if we're trying to sneak in, the less of us, the better.
Of course, but there could always be a distraction.
Yeah. I worry that our window to do this is short. What if Jillian shows up tomorrow? Then we've lost our chance.
No, I agree. It's until sunup. Shall we go?
So let's go to the back entrance and sort of see what's going on, I suppose.
Great. As we walk, do we want to discuss what our options are?
Yes.
Okay, let's move in the direction. The institute's not that far from the
Yeah,
wood.
like I like to,
Right.
because I know that the town square is sort of off to the west side. Can we make sure that we're walking around the back via the east? Just
Yeah, so
more
you're not
side
walking through the
streets
main.
rather
Yeah, sure.
than-
So you're not walking
yeah.
through the main square. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it all sort of depends on how many guards are walking around the perimeter, yes?
Yes, or if they're stationed around the perimeter and not walking around it.
Oh, yes. Other than that, I mean, you've in the past changed your appearance. Maybe that would be useful in this instance. You could perhaps make yourself look like one of the adepts.
My only concern is that if they want to speak to me, I sound the way I do, and I know nothing about the adepts. Usually I try to disguise myself if I'm just trying to sneak by something, or if I know enough information to have a dialogue with somebody and not seem like a total fraud. But I have a spell that would allow me to manipulate people's minds and make them think I'm their friend, and that would be a possibility.
Could you not... How much would a guard reasonably know about what goes on inside the Natural Studies Institute? I assume not much.
I would imagine very little.
So if you just disguised yourself as... Were all the adepts wearing a similar sort of garb?
Yeah, it looked like Ethan had a there was a ribbon around his waist that was of a different color. It looks like there might be relative ranks, but their robes were about the same, yeah.
The only problem with that is why would adepts who work at the Institute be using the back door?
So because that was the nearest entrance?
But there's no gate. So the structure, so the wall surrounding the Institute is a straight up wall, but then the front entrance is the only thing.
Yep.
There's two doors that aren't a part of that wall. It's
Yes.
part of the building.
Yes.
So the only way to just walk onto the ground.
There is not a... Like that gate that you went through when you first were going in, that's the only way into the courtyard interior. So to get to the back entrance, you need to get into the interior, walk around to the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Or
That is
scale
much
the wall
worse.
on
Yeah.
the other side.
Scale the wall.
My other thought
It's
was...
not a yeah.
How are you on... Sorry, yeah.
Oh, no.
How are you on scaling walls?
I mean, not super great, but you know, I could do it if I tried hard enough. My other thought was maybe not adepts, but what if, because of the information that we have at our fingertips, what if we said that we were hired by Adept Ethan to watch over Marvin because there's somebody in town that he has a past with?
But then I would be there, so that would be rather...
I don't know what you look like. Then I could at least disguise myself to look very distinct. That way maybe you don't stand out quite so much.
Let's see how many guards are at the front door.
Okay. Good start. That's a good start.
No comment on that whole plan.
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys make your way to the Institute. So you guys get there, and the wall is it's not like a solid wall all the way around. It has kind of like arches and stuff that kind of, and there's a little bit of gating, like grating. Make a perception check as you're sort of, both of you, as you're sort of looking and sort of judging their movements. It looks like there are multiple guards.
Oh god.
You guys both have dark vision.
4.
Yeah, I think so.
21.
Thank God.
So it looks like there's no one standing guard at the front gate. And it looks like the front gate is not locked in any way. It's not as like wide open as it was before, but it's not locked. And there's no one like standing there at the gate. What it looks like is there's guards that are patrolling in the courtyard between the wall and the Institute. And they sort of they don't move in a like circle. It looks like they each have a little path. So they're going like this, there's one going like this. Yeah. So they each have like a 50-foot portion of land that they're patrolling back and forth.
So say if there's like 4 walls, 4.
Yeah, it's more there's more 5. It's more like shaped like a.
Oh, okay. So do you think are they walking along each portion of the wall, like where the angles are?
Yes. It's not that precise, but that's the idea. Yes, so they're each patrolling a portion of the perimeter.
And how like narrow is that sort of like courtyard area? Like, is it the kind of thing where we could conceivably try and sneak past them, or is it so narrow that like
from the Institute to the outer wall is 25-30 feet.
Oh, and that's where they're walking. So like,
yes, they're in that.
It would be darn near impossible to sort of like stroll past them
without a distraction of some kind.
Yeah,
that would be difficult.
Okay. And
without
how many
drawing
do we
their
see?
attention.
Like, actually,
I mean, you're on one side of it. At least 3. There might be on the other side at least another.
3 near front. Okay, got it. Well, shall we maybe take a peek over at the back wall? Because at the moment, I think climbing over the wall at the back is better than coming in at the entrance.
Yes, I agree.
Great. Okay.
You guys make your way sort of casually around the perimeter. There's other people walking. It's not super suspicious. And you get around to the back, and it looks like there's only one guy patrolling. You can see through the grating of the wall like a gated entrance to the back of the Institute. There's this kind of recessed sort of semicircle. So if you were standing right at the gate, they might not even see you on the sides. And you can see it there, and it looks like one guard is patrolling back and forth. So he meets up with another one. So he'll meet up here and say, "Oh, hey, I'm on my way around," and he'll move back the other way. So if you went straight up over the wall, directly to the back entrance of the Institute, you'd really only be bypassing one guard if you timed it well.
Right. And it is conceivable that if we got the guard, if we did it when the guard was sort of far away, he wouldn't be able to see us.
Yes, if you didn't make noise, and yes, that is...
As he goes to meet a guard that's doing this is the back guard.
Yep,
As he's doing this to go be like, "Hey, what's up, bud? What is this? Is this guard also at this point?" Or is
no,
he
it looks like the one.
So he goes like
it looks
this.
like the one that goes back and forth in front of the back entrance meets up with them each time. So he goes
like,
"Oh, hey, Jim," and this guy goes away, and then this guy goes, "Oh, hey."
It's Pong.
Yes.
Great. Cool.
Great.
So he keeps going back, and he meets up with each of them.
And we can see the first door that Melody was talking about.
You can. It looks like it, yes.
And
it's a metal gated door.
It does seem fairly obvious as to which key belongs to that door as
yes,
well.
she said it would be very obvious when you got up there. It's a larger... yes.
Once we're inside that door, can the guards on the outside see us? Is it sort of like...
once you go through that first door, unless the one guard that's moving back and forth stopped and looked, it would be very hard for anyone to see.
It's not a solid door.
That first one is an iron gated door. The second door is a wooden door. That's solid.
Oh, so we can see both actually. So
yes,
you can see the
through
gate.
the first one to the second one.
Oh, it's a gate in.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, what is the distance from the wall that we are looking through to the first door?
Again, about 25-30 feet.
And the second door?
5 feet. I mean, they're
5 more feet from
yeah,
that.
They're like, oh, okay. So it's almost like a patio porch type door, and
then the real door. Yes.
Patio porch.
Okay.
Okay. Look, we're gonna have to do a lot of checks here. I want to know what we're gonna do.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes. Duh.
Is there any way? I know your magic hand can't lift me. Could it lift a key?
think it could very much lift the key, yes. And, well, depending on how much attention we draw, maybe I could cast thaumaturgy so that I can make a noise and make the guards look in a different direction as we dash across.
I think you'd want it to be a very quiet noise so as to only alert the 2 specific guards and not alert the other ones to a space.
I agree. I was thinking maybe whispers or like light child laughter or something.
That's terrifying, yes.
Well, I want them to have their attention, but also not, anything too malicious.
So should we first then try and unlock the doors?
Both of them? Okay.
If possible, yes.
I feel like
How far can Mage Hand go?
Mage is 30 feet.
You might be able to reach the first one.
Okay.
Definitely would not reach the second one.
Let us... I would like to relay the hand. I don't want to take both keys, because if I lose the hand, the keys fall and make a noise. So let us stick with the first one. What's the floor like where the door is?
Once you pass through the first gated door,
Yeah.
it's like some stone, cobblestone.
Okay, but
And
at the first... Say if the key is in the thing for the first door, and my hand dissipates, and the key falls, what's it falling on?
A little bit of stone.
Okay, that's loud. Okay,
Make a
so
noise. I don't know if loud.
when this guard here passes by immediately, should I send the key over?
Yes, I think so. I'm going to give Orba the bag of 2 keys.
Okay, Orba takes out the 2 keys.
Okay.
Which one's bigger?
There are 2 keys. One is clearly larger than the other, so you
Great.
take the larger key. Yeah.
Okay.
One's this big and one's like...
Let me just check the duration of Mage Hand really quickly. Okay, it's 1 minute, 30 feet. Okay, alright.
Wait for the guard and then try and open the door very quietly. Or unlock the door, don't open it actually.
I agree. Okay.
And I'm gonna sort of assume some sort of hiding spot so that I can see what's happening, but hopefully I won't be immediately obvious if the guard sees us. Sure.
Remind me how keys work. If I put the key in the door, turn it and unlock it, I can take the key out.
No.
After I unlock it, I can take the key out, right?
Yeah.
That's how keys work.
Some noise.
Your Mage Hand would be able to manipulate the
I just
object.
wasn't sure if the key had to sit in the thing. I forgot how keys worked.
No, it depends on the key.
Yeah, it does depend on the key.
Okay,
But
that's right.
It depends
I'm
on the
being
law.
thorough. Okay. Okay, I have my crystal and the key.
And with the sort of guard moving and the tense moment waiting, we move over to Safira.
Of course.
Oh my gosh.
She did.
And Safira leaves the sights and sounds of the scale house behind her, with mead on her mind, shifting her focus to silver arrows and a night of possible frights at the cemetery, mulling over her recent exchange with Jillian Casivo. And she walks with purpose past lit windows, her concentration sort of keeping her unobservant to some of her surroundings until she hears a bit of roadside revelry, captures your attention. And there's kind of a wave of cheers that ring out, a little bit of like, and a portly man with a stained brown tabard, he passes a bottle of wine to an elven woman whose loose-fitting blouse is sort of belted at the waist. And a group of 6 or 7 people is seated on crates, planters, barrels. There's a lantern hanging off the corner of a building nearby, sort of illuminating their faces. Quentin is the only one who's got the balls to tell Skents where he can stick his precious standing system. And there's a little bit of like, yeah, clinking of bottles. And one man kind of sits forward, who's sitting on a barrel. Please, this is not a one-man endeavor. For the standing system to be dismantled, we have to prove its inefficacy. Prove how easily manipulated the system is. How easily one can be stripped of their livelihood at a moment's notice. And this man has sort of captured the group's attention. In his 30s, he's got thick shoulder-length hair, well-groomed goatee, and there's a relatively high collar on sort of a padded doublet that he has, and his boots lace up high to just above the knee, or just below the knee. Those are some tall boots.
He's not wearing any pants.
And you can see that he's sort of...
Just like crossing his legs.
Yeah, it's hard to cross his legs, so he can't bend his knees.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of.
And you can see that he's sort of having this conversation with the people around him, sort of chatting, and he's talking about the standing system. And I can't do it alone. It's important that we all have the same singular goal in mind. So cheers to changing the way things are done around here. And there's sort of a clinking of bottles when people drink.
Can I walk over and kind of quietly like join them?
Sure. Yeah.
Just kind of like as if, that's not that weird, like an onlooker kind of stops.
There's only like 6 of them. It would be obvious if you were stepping up to join them.
That is super weird. Is there a place where I can sit down?
There's some crates.
So I'm going to kind of motion to one of the nearby crates and say, mind if I have a seat?
Every day it seems a new person is interested in my affairs. Tell me, are you one of Skens's skulking scoundrels, or are you a concerned citizen?
Oh, nice alliteration. No, I'm not one of Skens's skulking scoundrels, as you so eloquently put it.
Well, then you are welcome to have a seat.
Quentin, I take it.
That's me.
Nice to meet you. I've heard lots about you.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, you're quite the gossip round town.
Well, Skens likes to talk about me, so that puts my name around. But it's important that I always stay in vision of others, never a moment alone. That way Skens can't blame me for a crime I did not commit, which, trust me, he has tried, and that gets a bit of sort of laughing and chuckles from the group. So, what's your name?
My name's Safira, just passing through.
Safira. Not a citizen of Mukmu?
No. No, just a visitor.
Well, you're welcome to join in a little bit of revelry. We're just talking about how to make the city a better place.
So what's your problem with him?
My problem with Skens?
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much the man, it's the system that he enforces.
And what's your problem with the system?
Well, standing system doesn't officially deny you any services, but it creates a bias, a rift. People think they're better than others. People will take the services of one over another, even if they've been working for them for years. And he sort of looks at a man as he says this, and you can see that maybe it happened to that guy. He sort of is giving a sort of angry nod as he's drinking, sort of appealing to their... Tell me, have you been in Mukmu long enough to get a bearing on the standing system?
No, not really. Just got here, actually.
I was going to ask you what your impression was, because most people who come here find it rather barbaric, and it's honestly a little pathetic that the people in Mukmu continue to see it as a good thing.
I think it's strange.
Strange it is. And at this, another person sort of pipes up in the group, a woman. Between the standing system and the Myconid products, people of the moon are angrier every day. And she seems like she's about to say something else, and Quentin interrupts. Myconid products. Let me ask you something. How many of you have had your homes taken away by Myconid products? And he looks around. None? How many of you have been ridiculed, lambasted, or held unfairly accountable by someone dealing in Myconid products? None? Yeah. They don't sell pure Myconid extract in Mukmu. So what are we afraid of? Crops that grow too quickly? And that gets a laugh. Potions that work too well? There's a little more laughter. Yeah. One problem at a time, and the Mukmu's problem is a standing problem.
You speak as though you're familiar. Have you used this Myconid extract?
I have not. But I don't judge those who do. And I don't think it's a problem here in Mukmu. Not yet, anyway. See, I think Skens wants us worrying about the Myconid problem. You know why?
Why?
Because that's not his problem. And any time we spend quibbling amongst each other is time we do not spend fighting back against the standing system. Now, he'd like that, wouldn't he?
And can I kind of look to the woman who was going to say something about the Myconid products? And just ask her directly, what's your problem with them?
And she kind of gives kind of a nervous look around. Well, just that, I don't know, some people think that it's, I don't know, dangerous. Not me personally. And she kind of like leans back a little.
Well, I personally think that it's dangerous. I would tend to agree with those people.
Well, Myconid products can be dangerous in the right hands, but like I said, pure Myconid extract has not shown up in Mukmu. Myconid soil, who cares? Myconid potions, who cares? Little things, bigger picture.
So you're telling me there aren't Myconid addicts here?
And he looks around the group, and they kind of like, some shrugs and some grumbling.
And I kind of like fall, I'm gonna kind of fall silent and wait to see if anyone else kind of...
No one really pipes up.
Yeah.
And Quentin, sort of feeling this tension and silence, he pipes up again. You know, just to prove which problem is more imminent. They're thinking about adopting the standing system in Tuktu, and some people sort of pipe up and they're sort of looking concerned. And worse than that, they're thinking about incorporating the ledgers from here. No fresh starts. Mistakes that follow you around for the rest of your life. And heaven forbid your business relies on trade between Mukmu and Tuktu. Maybe your long-standing purchasers all of a sudden think they'd feel a little more comfortable with someone of a slightly higher standing. We gotta nip this in the bud. Stop it here, and we stop it from spreading. And there's some nodding and agreement.
So what's the big plan?
I have some ideas.
Okay.
Now, why would I tell someone just passing through?
Look, I'm not...
And the attention is kind of all...
Yeah, why Morty? Yeah. Give us a good reason.
I can be useful if I think the cause is just.
And do you think the cause is just?
I don't know, Quentin. Maybe you haven't convinced me yet. What's your plan?
Well, you haven't convinced me that I should tell you the plan.
Right.
Somehow I think I'll get by fine without your help. I didn't even know you existed until a couple of minutes ago.
Right, so you plan on your own changing this policy?
No, like I said, we're all in this together.
Oh, all 6 of you.
More than just the 6 of us.
Right.
Everyone who's been disrespected, everyone who's lost business, everyone who's had to sell their home or their business out of the Sun District. There's a lot of angry folks.
Instead?
I propose wiping the slate clean. The standing system was designed to clean up Mukmu in the wake of the war when things were out of control. I think things are fairly controlled now. The system did its job. Time to get rid of it now.
And what would you say to those who worry that wiping the slate clean for a criminal might give an opportunity?
Well, criminals can still serve jail time. I'm not suggesting we get rid of that.
Right. Well, I think it's fair. I don't think your past should have to follow you around wherever you go. I sort of realised I had a small stroke when I said that. But
So convincing.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, yeah.
that, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the way.
That I don't know why. 9. I do that every time, like it's gonna magically increase if I look at it.
Never know. Might have leveled up between this
I'm
part
like, you
and
know what, this time.
You know, every time someone in the sun falls out of good standing and they're forced to relocate, possibly sell their business, that creates a citizen of fervent opposition to the system, an angry citizen. And Cedric knows this, so he makes little handshake agreements, keep their standing just high enough to stay, as long as they do something for him in return. See, these people on the edge, they tend to be very tight-lipped because they're afraid of losing their home, their business. But if we could get a couple of those people to speak out, better yet, produce some kind of concrete evidence of this extortion, that would go a long way towards changing the public's opinion. I'm not going to give you more than that, but that's the basis of the plan.
Sounds like a good plan.
Thank you,
not only
stranger.
is the system corrupt, but it's also outdated.
You said it.
Right. Well, if I can be of any help to you, I'll do what I can.
I'll keep that in mind, although you haven't exactly put yourself on my radar. I'm not sure what to do with you.
Right, well, you don't have to do anything with me.
Fair enough. Well, I'll keep that in mind. You have a good night, or feel free to stay and have a drink.
I'd love to, but I'm meeting some friends for probably a disastrous night out.
That sounds honestly like a good time.
I certainly hope it is, Quentin. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure as well.
I
That's
kind
fair.
of nod and like acknowledge all of them as I kind of.
And you kind of get up. Make a perception check as you're getting up from their presence.
Great.
11.
11. As you're sort of getting up and moving away and proceeding to another part of town, you do notice that another person sort of quickly joins the group from behind Quentin over his shoulder. And it looks like sort of a hooded man, and he kind of leans over his shoulder and lightly puts his hand. And he turns and he walks away. And Quentin kind of gives a concerned nod, and then he goes back to the group. Only gives him sort of a slight acknowledgement.
What was this guy dressed in? Like
Sort of a brown hood. I mean, it was hard to see his face,
Okay.
but because he just kind of came up, quickly
Yeah.
whispered and walked, but sort of
But
a
it was,
simple
like,
brown.
hooded? He
Yeah, he was
kind of,
hooded. He had a
like,
cloak and a hood.
Okay. Is that unusual to be walking around at night with your hood up like that? Is that kind of weird? I'd look at that and be like, that's kind of sus, right? Like,
It's it's a
I
little.
expect him to be a freak.
It's also a little chilly out. I mean, if
Okay.
someone
It's
was
a little
protected, it wouldn't.
Forgot
It
his
wouldn't
mask.
necessarily.
Just got his
be-
ears
like
pierced.
that.
They're a little infected. He's trying to keep them.
Okay, alright.
So where are you headed?
I'm gonna head to the armory because I
Okay.
need to pick up my arrows.
I think
I think they did, although
you
she
guys
might not know
actually-
that. They picked
I
up
don't
all
know.
the silver.
I
Yeah.
don't know that they did
Okay.
that.
You head back in that general direction.
Yeah.
She gets there. Oh, good luck.
Great. So you guys head in that direction, and we'll go back to.
As she's about to,
Institute.
I assume you have your hand on your crystal. Or-
Yeah, I'm getting ready.
I'm gonna sort of like put a hand just on hers and just say like, if anything goes amiss, create some sort of distraction, and I'll sneak in.
Got it.
So what are we doing first?
That's like, I'm ready.
I actually want to do a quick test of Mage Hand before I carry the key. I want to take
See if you remember how to cast it.
hand. No, just to make sure it doesn't dissipate as it hits the door. Like to make sure that the distance
Yes.
is under
Sure.
30 feet.
Does it disappear as soon as it hits 30 feet? Is
I
that...
believe so. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
just like goes away. Let me make sure.
That there's not like a force
Yeah.
field or something.
Just a key just like hanging there.
The hand vanishes if it is ever more than 30 feet away from you.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to like quickly just send the hand and make sure that it doesn't go away as it hits the door.
So you see the guard, and it looks like he has that sort of same yellow tabard that you've seen before, a sort of city watch of the sun.
Okay.
He doesn't look like he has any sort of extra regalia. He seems like pretty low ranking.
And again, I think, I think Melody said that recently they just asked for more assistance from. Yeah. So these don't look like institute specific guards,
or like any sort of higher ranking guard. It seems like a low. Okay, good.
Seems
Good.
fairly standard.
All right.
And you wait for him, and
Yep.
he kind of passes by the midpoint there.
Yep.
Is this when you're...
Yep. Casting it. And I'm
it
sending
moves.
it to the door.
And it moves, and it gets up, and it looks like it reaches the door.
Great. I'm gonna drop the spell.
Yep.
Is he coming back?
Yep.
Stop looking at me like that. Great. So I'm gonna cast it again.
Moves to the other side.
Oh my god.
This is his walking pattern.
Oh, okay. I'm very confused. I'm gonna
It's okay.
cast it again. Put the key in the hand,
And he picks up the key.
and I'm gonna send it
And
over.
it kind of drifts over.
I'm gonna.
It's silent at this point.
Yeah.
Great. So I grabbed the key in a way that it's like at the head of the key, not at the thing, and I
It has to like toss it. And
yeah starts juggling it very quietly and like as still as I can. I just slowly put the key into the keyhole.
And it. Can you hear it kind of go in?
Where can I see where the guy is on this relay at this point?
He's like just reached one of the ends, and he's like talking to one guy very briefly.
Right, as he is talking, I'm gonna start trying to turn it really quietly.
Sure. And it looks like it gets stuck for a second, and then
Great. Okay. I'm assuming he's at that point turned around.
Now he's sort of acknowledged the other guy, and he's turned around the other way.
Okay. As he passes midway point again, I'm gonna bring the key back with the hand.
Oh wow.
So
Or no, should I just leave it there?
So
With
the
you.
hand with the key,
Yeah.
you're leaving the hand up as he's walking by?
No,
So if he
I guess
looked
I'll.
to his right, he would see.
I guess I don't know how visible.
Yeah, what does the hand look like?
Yeah, what
It's
is
sort
it?
of like a shimmering sort of magic.
Oh,
you
if
would
it
notice
shimmers.
it. If you
Okay,
saw
if it
it.
shimmers,
If there was
yeah,
just
I'm
the
gonna drop
key, I mean, it's in there, but he would have to be.
He would
you're
have to
looking
be, right,
for
it's metal
it.
on metal,
Yes,
not a
that
bright
would be
shiny
very.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drop the hand.
Sure. The key's there.
Do I bring the key back, or do I just leave it there?
I think you just leave it there.
Ooh, he could see it.
Well, but we're gonna go run in now, aren't we?
I guess so, yes.
Give me the second key, actually.
Yeah, I'll give him the second key.
So where is he in his path right now?
So he's now gotten to the other end, and he's just starting to talk to the
Okay, so
guy in the other
I
corner.
think you should go first.
as soon as he passes again, I'm gonna
You first, and I wait.
yes.
Okay. All right.
And again, if they see me, stop making noise in the other direction.
Well, okay.
You guys get him, he's sort of moving along his path, and he gets to the midpoint, and you hear, how's your night going? And someone sort of walked up, and he looks sort of in a drunken stupor, and he's sort of got a little dribble down his chin. Seems like he's coming in the direction of one of the bars. Good evening.
He's talking to us two?
Yeah, he's talking to you two. He sort of put a loose arm around Erland.
I immediately grab that man's hand and I'm like, oh, you know what? I found something over here I want to show you. Come here.
Let's look at
Like,
that,
immediately.
definitely. Make a performance check with advantage in his sort of.
Advantage.
Who's this jokester?
Oh,
This is Chrome.
7.
So you start to lead him away, and he kind of, no, I don't want to talk to this guy. He's a funny-looking guy.
Oh, you know what? He's not in a very good mood right now. I just had to split him up from a fight. You should really come over here and take a look at this thing.
And you're
now.
sort of tugging at his arm, but he's kind of standing there, sort of defiantly. Is one of you have a drink?
Yes, I have a flask. Why don't... Yeah, come here. But only if you come over here. And I have the flask and I'm like doing this.
And he looks over. Do you have a flask?
I do not.
Yeah. Can I borrow a silver for a drink?
She has all the money.
Just one.
Again. And she pulls out a silver. Just follow me.
All right. And he sort of walks in the direction.
Where is the guard right now?
He has now hit the other side. He's walking back.
Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna wait until that guard passes, and then if that other guy is now dealing with Orba, I'm going to dart towards the door as soon as the guard passes.
All right,
like
so
once
he
I'm clear.
Gets past the midpoint. Orba's sort of tugging. He's facing the other direction. Make an acrobatics check for me as you scale the wall.
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics 20.
20. So you put one foot and you get one in one of the sort of the separation between two of the stones, and you hop yourself up. You're on top of the wall.
Has he passed now?
He's like meeting up with the other guy. The other guy hasn't shown himself yet from the corner.
Do I have reasonably enough time to with it before he turns around to sort of like drop down and go to the door?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop down and try and dart towards the door.
Make a stealth check.
Yeah, here it is.
That's all good.
11.
You hit the ground with a sort of, and there's grass. It's not sort of rocky or anything. And you make your way there, and you get up to the gate. And what are you doing there at the gate?
I'm gonna sort of. You said that in that door, there's sort of a place where if I were to go in, I could go right on the other side of the door and not be seen.
No, you'd have to go through the second door. This gate has.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
there's gaps.
So I'm going quietly open that door, close that door, open the second door, and hop in.
Sure. Give me another stealth check as you're opening the gate, which makes
The
noise.
gate is the first door.
Yes, first two doors.
I'm gonna be sick.
Stealth check?
Yep.
23.
23.
Oh my god.
So you open it, and as you push the gate open a little bit, and you can hear it start to, and you stop, and you look at the gap. You decide that it's enough, and you squeeze through,
Yeah.
and close it behind.
The key. So that key is still in that door then.
If you're leaving it there, yeah.
Yes.
Sure. You leave it there. Open the next one. Open it up. Looks like a staircase in front of you.
I am going to take that key out and close it so that the door is locked.
What?
So that the second door is locked.
Sure.
And I am going to wait for a moment to see if I hear Orba coming as well.
Okay, so you're standing in a dark stairwell.
So, yeah. There's no one. It doesn't seem like there's anyone in front of me, or I can't hear anything.
It looks like a steep spiral staircase, so it's right in front of you, and it's narrow too. And it looks like it goes up very quickly, like you have to do a big step to get up each step. So very narrow spiral staircase.
So gate door is closed with key in it.
Yep.
Second door is closed, locked. And
yeah.
I'm sort of standing right at that door, listening to see what I hear and what's
We
going
go
on.
over, and as Orba's kind of talking to this guy, he looks like he sees something else where he kind of, another guy! And he walks in that direction.
Does he not take my silver?
He doesn't. No, he got
Great,
distracted.
I'm gonna put that back in. That's the most money I have. Okay, so I go in and check in on how that went. Is Erland inside at all?
You can't see.
Okay.
As far as you know, Erland has disappeared.
Okay.
You saw him hop over the wall because you would have been sort of seeing that in the background, but now he is nowhere in your vision.
Okay, I'm gonna. Where's the guard?
Well, you can wait for him to pass the midpoint if that's what you're waiting for.
For him to pass the mid. Yep, that's what I'm waiting for.
Okay. Acrobatics check.
Okay, I am shaking. 10.
10. Okay, so you find a similar sort of foothold and you sort of push yourself up and you take a look around and you can get yourself up onto the top.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna jump
Give me
on
a
a
stealth
dash.
check. 13. And the other guard, for a second now the two of them are meeting up.
Yeah.
So the one kind of seeing, he turns to talk to the guy or at least acknowledge the guy that has been moving back and forth.
Yeah.
And and it seems like for a second he kind of, and he gives the guy a nod. He turns back the other way. You're up at the door.
I'm opening the door.
Give me another stealth check with the noise of the gate.
14.
14. In the similar kind of thing, even without Erland sort of telling you ahead of time, you hear the and you stop it, and even you take your tail and you tuck it between and you go through. Close it behind you.
I go for the second door and I pulled it off.
Are you leaving the key in there?
Oh, the key's in it?
In the gate.
I take the key.
So
yeah.
you reach through and you kind of pull it through.
Locking it, as I do that.
And you go up to the door.
Yep.
And you can hear a little rattle.
So I open that door very quietly.
Yep.
Can I sneak in?
You duck in, and he's closing it, and as you can see the guy coming to right as you close it.
And so both doors are now locked.
Both doors are now closed.
It's a born identity.
And you are inside.
End of stream.
Yeah. Good night.
This is Ocean's 11.
You know, for a second there, I thought you locked me out. On purpose.
Does that sound like something I would do?
Maybe.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
And you're here. And it's clear that this stairwell is seldom used. They're sort of empty sconces where torches or lamps might have been positioned, but rust and cobwebs has overtaken them. And you can see a little bit of dust sort of kick up from your feet, and you start to ascend the stairs. Okay. Let's check in on Graven and Beezaura.
Who just walk to the wet dog.
Who have made their way kind of to the wet dog. And actually at this point, this was kind of happening simultaneously. Behind you a little ways, you see Safira heading in the direction of the smithy. So if you wanted to, you can catch her attention. You see that she's walking that direction.
And we do have her. We don't.
Yes,
have
you
her.
do have her stuff. Yeah.
Her stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Or you can just let her go. And
Yeah. I wouldn't do that to you.
Oh, I was.
Go ahead.
Before you stop her.
Like unbeknownst.
Graven starts to go like.
I hate to say it, but
What?
didn't she not even ask anybody about what she heard about the other Goliath and then revealed that about you? What I'm just saying.
What are you
I
getting
think
at?
we might have a better shot at just the two of us going in a little more discreetly asking people about the other Goliath. She, as much as I respect her bluntness, she is sometimes eager to give away secrets.
To be totally honest, the least discreet of any of us is myself, I would say. Just
They
by
already
nature
know
of being a
that you're
Goliath.
here. They know that there's a second Goliath in town. I just think, without divulging anything about you or your past.
If you're that worried about it, fine. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
So you make your way into the
Aww.
Sorry.
And you see Safira kind of move towards the square. She hasn't gotten to the sort of town
She
square.
didn't see us.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so you go in, and it's pretty lively in here. So it looks like this place doesn't stay. Not that it's like closing time, but it doesn't stay open as late as the other taverns. So some people have migrated from here. They're not serving their full menu of food all day long, but there's still a good number of people in here. A number of empty tables now that there's sort of less of a crowd. And there's still people in the kitchen if you wanted to get something, but it's all. What do you guys do?
Do you want anything?
Yes, I suppose I'll just get an ale for now to get a chance to speak to the bartender.
Okay, great. I'll try to scope out a good seat. See if there's a lively bunch we could talk to.
And keep an ear open, I suppose.
Of course.
Follow Graven up
Go
to
to
the.
Go to the bartender. It's the same. So the food area is the same. The thing.
Same one.
It's weird. The same place we were before.
Yeah. It looks like there was a sort of chalkboard that had all of the menu items. It looks like some have been erased as they sort of are no longer serving those items. It looks like you can still get a soup, you can get ale, you can get pie at this hour. This sort of
I didn't ask if she wanted one. Just one for me, please. Yeah, I'll go up to the bartender and an ale, if you don't mind.
Of course, and he sort of points down, and it looks like there's a couple sort of bales, and he hands over a cup, a 5-cupper for cup.
Copper, of course.
And basically hands you the cup.
Do you mind if I ask? I come from the north originally, obviously, but coming up from the south just recently, I haven't seen many of my own kind, but I heard...
Yeah, we don't see a lot of you coming through.
No, I've heard that there was one here recently. Have you seen a Goliath other than myself?
And he sort of looks around, and it seems like he's a little confused for a moment. Well, just the one that everyone knows.
Oh. Who might... I'm new around here. Who might you be talking about?
Oh, Lady Sangara.
Ah.
Not Lady Sangara.
Yeah, not Lady Sangara.
The name doesn't mean
Does that name mean anything to me?
it doesn't.
Thank you. Does she lives here?
Yeah, she's over at the Lakafuyu temple.
Ah. Is she high up or a member of the clergy?
I think she's a priestess there, yeah.
I see. Does she live in the moon?
I believe so, yeah. I think actually she stays there. She has quarters there, as far as I know.
Wow. It's very interesting. Do you know, she take many guests, or is she...
Not sure. Take many guests?
I don't know what I mean. Sorry, I haven't seen a Goliath in some time.
Oh. Sorry to hear. I don't... Is that a good thing? I'm not sure.
Just stands out.
Oh, yeah.
As you well know.
I'm sure people gave you some looks around Mukmu. We don't see a lot of Goliaths. But everybody knows.
Don't even notice it
Sangara.
at this point, honestly. Get it so much. But only she, the priestess.
That's the only one that I know, yeah.
Thank you for the ale.
Of course, yeah.
Walk over to Beezaura.
Graven!
There's a number of seats available. We found a spot.
Yeah.
Did you find out anything from the barman?
Well, one of the Lakafuyu priestesses is a Goliath and lives in the moon.
Interesting.
Quite interesting.
You ever heard of her?
No. I've heard of the Lakafuyu,
Right.
not of her. Give me the name one more time.
Of her?
Yeah.
Sangara.
What's her name?
Sengi apostrophe R-A. Sangara.
He didn't give a last name.
He said Lady Sangara.
Should we ask some locals if they know of her?
Perhaps. I mean, that would be more probably digging into the Lakafuyu,
And
which
they
is not exactly what I want to do here, because that could stir up trouble.
How so?
I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar.
Please enlighten me on
I'll
these.
give you a little rundown.
Lakafuyu.
Lakafuyu was the ceremony that we witnessed in the Pakara River. You remember? Mm-hmm. Well, they practice a religion that looks down upon utilizing powers of deities.
I see.
So, I don't think that they would have any reason to know that I'm a cleric. But if they knew, it could be bad news. They would not appreciate that.
Understood.
And I don't think any kind of racial brother or sisterness I would have with her would overcome that.
Are more Goliaths clerics or Lakafu?
I don't think I would know anything about that.
Yeah, no, I don't think you would necessarily.
I don't think there's any correlation or none
Right.
that could be.
Clerics are pretty rare in general.
Okay.
And so are Goliaths.
Yeah, and the Lakafuyu you wouldn't necessarily know much about. But
So if we ask around, just no mention of that, I guess.
Well, again, if we come up against the Lakafuyu as a... Maybe not dig into that.
Got it.
More just Goliath.
yeah, it's not like illegal to be a cleric. in
Yeah.
Mukmu
Right,
or
they just
anything,
don't
yeah.
really like the match.
No.
Okay. Are we seated? We're like seated
Yeah,
next
you're
to some
seated.
people?
Yeah, there's some bunch of people.
Do you mind if I ask someone? If they know her?
Sure.
Okay.
You can get the attention of someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of sitting nearby, sort of enjoying an ale, and
How's your night going?
it's pretty good. How about you?
Pretty well. First night in town.
Welcome.
Thank you. I here with my Goliath friend.
Oh yeah, and he sort of gives you a look. Don't see a lot of them.
Yeah, we heard. But then we also heard there's only really one that's known of around here.
Yeah, just the one everyone knows.
Lady Sangra-La,
Yeah,
right?
Sangura.
Sangra-La.
But yeah,
Sorry. You know where she stays?
yeah, she's one of them Lakafuyu types. Yeah,
She stay by the temple.
I think she stays in the temple.
Oh wow.
She's you don't know her.
I haven't met her before, just heard of her.
Well, I think she stays in there mostly because it's hard for her to get around.
Why's that?
Well, she's crippled.
Oh. How so?
Legs don't work. I don't know.
Leg crippled, I see.
Yeah,
How long has that been?
I've never seen her without the chair.
Oh wow. She have anyone that helps her?
I think the people at the temple do. Yeah.
You don't know how she got that way?
No, I'm sorry. You know her? You're friends with her? You're very interested in...
No, it's just we were just wondering.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I don't know.
Alright.
As far as long as she's been in Mukmu, as far as I know, she's been that way.
Thank you.
Cheers, thanks.
Cheers. He goes back.
Crippled Lakafuyu Goliath.
Triple threat.
Yeah,
Very interesting combination.
very.
I wonder how she...
I don't. The way that Safira spoke of someone mentioning a Goliath, it made it seem like it was somebody they hadn't
Right.
seen before.
Like, oh, there's one and the others two.
Yeah. Right.
That is! I
Yes.
Not like they had known about her forever.
Maybe somebody from the reserves would have more information.
Perhaps
Do we see anybody that maybe has reserves cloakings on?
Like the sun or moon cloaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. There's probably a couple guys sitting there. Yeah, they're not.
Do you want to ask? You shy.
Shy?
Shall I?
I thought you asked if I was shy.
Or are you
Please,
too shy?
be my guest.
You can walk over to one of them. It looks like there's a group of three, sort of, a woman and two men, sort of that have that standard kind of garb.
I'll stay here looking
I was gonna
inconspicuous.
say,
Maybe
nondescript.
Maybe looking like I've had a couple or something.
Yeah.
Sure. You
So
can
they're
walk
they're from the reserves.
up. They have like the sort of sun tunics
Yeah.
on. That yeah.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening.
How are you?
Fairly well. How are you?
Doing well. Just getting the lay of the land, I guess.
Are you new?
New, yeah. Just arrived this afternoon.
Welcome to Mukmu.
Thank you so much. Just learning about the land, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
I traveled with a friend who's a Goliath.
And they kind of look past you and clearly see Graven. Sure. Yeah.
And there were smatterings that they've only seen ever one here in Mukmu.
Yeah. There's just the one that everyone knows. Yeah.
Lady Sangura.
Lady Singara. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to the man that we were eating with. He said she's crippled. How awful.
Yeah. It's a shame, but she's gets around pretty well, I think.
Good. I'm just used to my Goliath friend just towering over everyone, so it's hard to imagine.
Well, she's very strong and very strong of will as well. She doesn't seem to bother her too much.
Is she older?
I'm not sure. Maybe 40-something, 50-something. Not exactly sure.
Shame. She's injured.
I suppose. I don't think it holds her back very much.
Do you know how it happened?
No. When she came to Mukmu, I think it was like that when she came.
Oh. How long has she been here?
As long as I've been here, which is over 20-something years, so.
Wow. Where'd you come from?
I came from the north, from Dillisun. That's where my family is.
Nice. Came alone?
No, I have a son and a wife.
Excellent. What's your name?
Ron.
And you work at the Reserve Center?
Yeah, there's over, and he describes there's that sort of area
Yeah.
near where Broken Crown is. There's quarters there and things that he works out of there.
Nice.
Sure,
Seems like a good life you created here.
it's been all right, I guess. Yeah,
Great. Well, thank you so much. Sorry to bother you.
no, not a problem. Cheers.
Cheers. So I go back over to Graven. No one seems to know how she got injured. She's been here 20-some years.
Decades.
They just say she's in her 40s, pretty strong-willed. Doesn't seem to bother her that she can't walk. Well,
I don't know.
guess you're the only new Goliath in town.
I suppose
Does seem odd, though.
it does. Maybe I will try to go and talk to her, but not tonight.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
You guys sit here a moment as you sort of mull over this new information you found. And Safira has made her way to the blacksmith. And it's dark. There's no one there. It's closed up.
Oh my god.
Okay, so she kind of sees, realizing that she obviously has made it too late to this party. She like kind of stands outside the door for a second and has like a great. And then I think she's gonna go because what time? I know around what time it is. Right?
Yeah, it's 10:30, almost 11 o'clock.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then I think at this point, realizing that it's getting late, she's gonna head down and hope that her friends are waiting there with her. Hopefully, her
Head towards the
silver
cemetery.
arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, towards the cemetery.
Sure. And you head off in that direction.
Yeah.
And you hear a little bit of a, and it seems like a window slide was kind of pushed open, and you turn back around, and it looks like Dina's leaning out the window. Arrows?
Yeah.
Your friends picked them up already. Hope that's okay.
Oh yeah, cheers. That's fine. Thanks.
All right.
Just kind of head towards the side.
And we will go back to the Natural Studies Institute.
Oh god.
Make a perception check, both of you, as you're ascending these cold stone steps.
Can I roll well once?
1 meter.
8.
13.
You notice that it looks like the dust has built up more extensively on the sides of the steps. A few curved prints that indicate that maybe someone has passed through here recently-ish. You can't really tell how long exactly. And are you continuing up the stairs?
I would like to do so very quietly.
Sure.
I would like to, while we're still fairly low on the stairs, are we going up or going up? Yeah.
We're going up.
Yeah, while we're still fairly low on the stairs, I'd like to whisper to Orba,
Sure.
I don't know how Marvin's gonna feel about me.
Yes, I thought of that.
So, just don't refer to me by name
All right,
until
Jamie.
we get a sense of how he feels.
Fantastic.
And I'm gonna sort of lead the way up the stairs.
Give me stealth checks for both of you. I'm trying to remember.
No.
15.
Step on the creaky stair.
4.
Can I preemptively hold her tail?
You're in front.
You guys start to climb. Sort of, you can hear the boots on the stone. And with the dust and the darkness, there's sort of a little shh as Orba kind of slips a little bit, and you turn and you grab her, and she sort of grabs the wall, and on your shoulder, you sort of clink, you sort of hit one of the sconces there that was empty, and it kind of rattles a little bit, and the noise kind of rattles throughout the staircase. It wasn't terribly loud, but if someone was right at the top of the stairs, they might have heard that, but just a little bit of noise.
So I'd like to listen to hear if we hear any scuffling at the top of the stairs.
You do not.
Okay. As far as we were told, his lab is right at the top of the stairs, yeah?
She said it went
Yeah.
right up into the lab.
Into the lab, yeah.
As he's holding me, Orba mouths to him.
Carefully. Continue to proceed quietly up the stairs.
And as you proceed up the stairs, no sound is permeating from above, just the light scuffing of your boots against the solid floor. And after a couple of sort of revelations around this spiral staircase, you look up and you can see a faint flickering of light. And with such a dim glow, you find it hard to believe that someone would be working under these conditions. It's not like the lab doesn't seem lit. It seems like there is a light up there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Perhaps a lamp that was left on accidentally, or a candle sort of at the end of its wick. You see that sort of flickering of light. Do you continue up the stairs?
So as we're like nearing the top of the stairs, so the dust has...
You just kind of noticed as you were looking down, like walking up the stairs, because you have dark vision,
Yeah.
that like the stairs are fairly dusty. It doesn't seem like a lot of traffic comes up and down these stairs, certainly.
Yeah.
But you noticed that there was some sort of build-up
Okay.
and sort of rounded edges that look like footprints.
And there's no change as we've ascended the stairs. It's still the same amount of sort of disturbance.
Yeah,
as we've,
about the
okay,
same, yeah.
Okay.
And again, only very light. It doesn't look like lots of people
We
use
still,
this,
we
but
still don't hear anything upstairs?
not yet.
All right, let's continue to proceed quietly. Is there a way, once that we ascend the stairs, is there a way so that, like, we can kind of, like, what's the, can we tell what the landing's like?
You haven't gotten there yet.
Right, but can,
you-
like, if we're looking up to see the light, can we tell what the landing is like? As in, is it going to be possible for us to perhaps, like, peer in?
Yeah, I mean,
before
again,
we-
it's a spiral staircase,
Yeah.
and the staircase is fairly steep. There's definitely going to be a point where your head is high enough that you can look in without getting all the way up.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to get to the point where we still
peaking
can't be
point?
seen. The
That
peaking
one?
point.
Yeah.
Ah, peaking point.
And so you guys move up, and you get to the top of the stairs, or the peaking point of the stairs. And there is no door there that's sort of blocking into this next room. But there's a sort of crisscrossing, collapsible iron gate. It looks like it's sort of like you'd slide it across.
Yeah.
No lock that you can see, but the thin metal slats look like they would make a bit of rattling as you kind of
Yeah.
opened it or closed it. And the gaps in the gate are large enough for you to peer through. And you kind of crane your neck a little bit, and you get a view of the interior. And you see a substantial open room. You'd estimate at least 50 feet in both directions. It's a big lab. And no pillars, but a few supporting arches around the perimeter of the room that branch out up to this sort of sloped ceiling that also looks like it has a couple skylights kind of built into it for extra light during the day. And extending 15 feet or so from every wall that you can see, there is nothing. An empty alley sort of around the perimeter, void of lanterns, shelving, cabinets, diagrams, artwork, nothing. And in the center of the room, a mass of furniture and scientific apparatus. Desks butting up against tables, butting up against benches, butting up against bookcases, as if the entire contents of the lab had been crammed into this very sort of center, maybe 15 by 15-ish spot in the middle, 20 by 20 maybe.
Oh, so that sort of area around the side is, if it's 50 by 50 feet, like it's a substantial...
Yeah, like there's a good gap of nothing before you get to this crammed area in the middle.
Can you even like maneuver around within all that crammed stuff, or is it like truly packed tight?
From what you can... make a perception check. See if you can get a good view on it.
9.
9, it seems very packed.
Yeah.
It seems like, you might be able to maneuver. It's not like you'd be climbing on top of
But
it
there's like no
necessarily.
sense to the way it's packed.
It's hard to tell that from here. What are you looking for specifically?
Like, does it seem like it's still livable, or does it seem like things were just like carelessly shoved together in the center of the room?
That's hard to tell.
Okay.
And it's from this sort of central spot where all these things have been pushed in that a low light is emanating. A small glass lamp that gives you only a warm kind of outline of this mess of furnishings, contraptions, scientific apparatus. But it's enough to see the outline of a man. And he's positioned at a desk, has his arms crossed, and his head lying face down on his arms. Short, dark hair that, from the light kind of flickering, looks like it's graying ever so slightly at the edges. And he's lying there in the middle.
Lying.
He's
Okay.
he's got his head down on his
But he's
desk.
sitting.
He's like this.
Okay.
How many doors are there in this room from what we can see?
Make a perception check.
10.
10. There's 2 that you can see clearly. Like Melody said,
Yeah.
on the direct opposite wall, there is a door there, a wooden door that she said would lead to a hallway. Yes.
Oh, that's the
She said it
hallway.
led to a small hallway,
Yeah.
yes, that Grimar's office might be off of.
Yeah.
And then the only thing you're able to see as you're peeking around is on the left side wall, there's an opening that has no door, and it's very low lit, but it looks like there might be a bed in there. It looks like it might be a quarters of some sort.
So that's because she also mentioned a living quarters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be that.
Is there any light emanating from that sort of open area?
No, there's not. The
quarters?
only light that you can tell is emanating from a small glass lantern in the center of the room.
Can Orba quickly cast thaumaturgy on the lamp and bring the light up just slightly brighter?
Sure.
Just slightly brighter.
Sure. So you go to cast, and you sort of focus in on the light, and nothing happens to the light.
Oh, shit.
What does that mean?
There might be some kind of dispel magic in the room. I say very quietly. Erland, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use much magic here.
Make an Arcana check also.
Oh, okay. 13.
13. When you cast it, you got a similar sensation to a sensation that you got before. There was another time when you tried to cast a spell,
Yeah.
and you tried to cast it and it sort of was blocked.
Yeah.
And you got a similar sort of trying to reach that point and being unable to sensation just now.
Erland, this feels very similar to the underground with the wall where you got stabbed. It feels like this.
Oh, the magical barrier.
I wasn't able to do much. I could do a thing or two, but I couldn't do most.
Is the man? Oh god damn it! Is the man bleeding?
You can't tell that from here. There's a lot of stuff. Again, you can only see with all the furniture from like here up as he's sort of lying out. You can't see his legs or anything. It's blocked by various a chest of drawers and.
Can you? Would it be useful to detect magic at this moment? Spend 10 minutes to detect magic. Would that be useful?
I mean, I was planning on doing it in the room at some point, yes. But do you want 10 minutes of not interacting with this man? We're on a timer here.
The graveyard is becoming increasingly less important. They can handle themselves.
I hope you're right.
He is.
It's like 10:30ish, right? Like, it didn't take us too long.
You're
to hop
estimating
the
that?
thing,
Yeah.
If you're going to
Might
do it
not even be
eventually,
quite
you might
that
as well
late.
do it now.
All right. And I sit on a stair. Would I feel it right away if my ritual casting is being muted in some way?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna start.
You don't feel a sensation like that of any kind?
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going.
So while she's there, I just want to remain very aware of what's going on in the room, if anyone's coming, sounds, etc., etc.
Sure. Make a perception check.
10.
You sort of sit there. It's you're sitting on kind of 4 steps down from the top, and you're kind of keeping an eye there, keeping an eye down. You don't hear any sights. There's no sights, no sounds, and you watch Orba kind of go into a sort of ritual here, and you're waiting here for Orba to cast her spell. And we're going to go over while this is happening. We're going to go over to Safira, who is she hasn't been able to find anybody. She's kind of wandering a little through the streets of Mukmu.
It might have been my fault.
And as you traverse the city streets, you sort of breathe in the sights and sounds of Mukmu at night. A city that's you get this sense that it's unsure of the role it's going to play. A city that, sort of like the moths that you see flickering from lantern to lantern, it seems content to follow whatever path seems brightest. They followed sort of an indiscriminate supply stop during the war. They adopted this standing system to clean up the city. And now you get the impression that they're sort of positioned to allow myconid extract, or at least myconid products, to become a focal point of its economy. And you're walking through the streets, and then there's a sudden flurry of activity as a number of children of varying ages kind of scuttle by. Smiles on their faces, and it looks like they're trailed by a few bemused parents kind of smiling, shaking their head. They don't seem like they're alone. And you also notice that a few of the kids are carrying cups. Kids have cups, and they're kind of running through. It's a little unusual. Not the cups thing. Well, that is a little unusual. But that was a cups place. But just that there's so many kids walking through at this time of night, maybe a little unusual. And you hear sort of one of the women yell after a couple of the kids, "Slow down! I don't want to be cleaning scrapes off your knees tonight." And they've kind of scuttled off. They don't really hear. And she kind of... And she moves forward. And she follows these kids. They're sort of all scuttling. They're sort of heading north in the direction you were heading. They're kind of coming from...
Do any of the kids, see me at all? Or,
They don't acknowledge you.
Can
I mean, you're in the
smile
streets.
at one of them?
Sure.
I'm a little...
They seem very focused. You go to smile to them, and they've got the cups in hand, and they're kind of, running down the streets. And they really don't...
Do I know, with looking at where they're going, do I have an idea of what direction they're...
Yeah, they're heading north, but you don't... Yeah, they were heading in the same direction you were.
Yeah, so I'm walking kind of parallel along with them.
Sure.
Can I... So there's... Mom is walking next to me, right?
Mm-hmm. She's moving at a quick pace, but sort of walking by you.
Can I call out to Mom and go, "Looks like a handful"?
Yes. Well, and this time of night... Once a month, always a handful.
Yeah. What's with the cups? Are they digging?
No, not from around here.
No, sorry.
Don't have any kids.
Yeah, no, don't have any of those, yeah.
Well, there's some local merchants who, once every month, they bring a few barrels of lemonade to share with the children. And they set up outside of Gwendolyn's drinkery. I would prefer they don't do it so late at night, but when you're giving things up for free, I suppose you can't do it during your working hours.
Lemonade, you said?
Yes. Some of the merchants who live in Mukmu, they treat the kids every month.
Right.
And she's sort of trying to keep an eye on her kids. I'm gonna try and,
Yeah, sorry.
have a good night.
Thanks.
And she sort of quickens her pace and moves up towards kids.
Yeah. Okay, so she's gonna try to go to she's still gonna go to the cemetery.
It's in the same direction as well.
In the
Gwendolyn,
same direction.
yeah, so
pretty close to each
Gwendolyn's
other.
drinkery,
Yeah.
the 11
right
that
underneath
is
there, yeah.
at the
Oh.
north end, that is
Okay.
Gwendolyn's drinkery.
Okay.
Drink all along.
Too much
Sure.
Gwendolyn's drinking.
Yeah.
I wonder if Lady Sangria is gonna be there too.
Okay. Well, is there a way that I can walk so that I pass the lemonade? thing when I'm walking? Can I kind of walk?
Yeah.
That you can pass the... Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I want to take the path that will lead me to pass. I'm not going to change my gait at all. I just kind of want to, you know... I don't want to look like I'm like, what is this lemonade thing, you know?
Or that you're like, get out of the way!
Give me a cup!
I'm just going to walk over. I just want to do this. Yeah.
And you sort of follow and you see even as you're walking, a few more children kind of run by quickly and are heading up. And you see a small crowd has gathered around an ox-drawn cart. There's 2 large oxen that are slowly munching on some sort of grasses and grains. And some children are scampering about. A number of crates and barrels and benches sort of borrowed from that outdoor seating section of the drinkery have been pulled over and set up for these kids to sit on. And you see them gleefully gulping down their drinks, and they're laughing and smiling and sort of chatting with other neighborhood kids. And occasionally you see one kid kind of polish off their cup and with a burst of energy kind of run around, and you see kids chasing each other. And on the cart are 3 large tapped barrels that have a wooden sort of tap put in them. And a man is dutifully filling these cups. There's this crowd of kids all reaching up with their cups. He sort of takes one, pulls the tab, and he pours the lemonade, and he brings it down. And every once in a while, the kids will like bunch up too close, and he'll sort of back them off, grab a cup, and he's sort of doing this. It's sort of, there isn't really a line so much as a bunch, but...
And no adults are drinking this?
No, they're kind of standing around. It seems like it's a treat for the children. There's a number of adults standing around, but none of them up there getting
None of
lemonade.
them have a cup of this?
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna stand back. Do I see any kids that have already gotten a cup of lemonade?
They're like currently drinking.
And they all look accompanied, right? They all.
As far as you can tell, I mean, there's a.
Can I take one?
There's a number of them, but yes, you. Are you saying, are you looking for like orphans or something? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking to see if any kids that look like Johnny are getting.
Make a perception check.
Johnny loves the juice.
7.
Stop.
7. You take a look around and you don't see any of at least the ones that you know. You know, Johnny and Taggart and
Yeah,
Hazel.
do I see any that look like maybe a little like...
Little haggard,
Yeah.
No, not really.
No?
Seems like most of the kids here are accompanied by adults.
Okay. And I want to watch them. The kids who have just had lemonade, who kind of like have the burst of energy and are running around. Do I notice anything in particular? Like, do they look like they're on a sugar high or like?
I'm liking it, huh?
What's going on here?
That's what I'm thinking.
They seem like kids. They seem like high energy kids. Nothing about it strikes you as something unusual in particular.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go kind of towards where the children are, and I'm gonna kind of crouch down and sit on the floor. I'm gonna take out a silver, and I'm just gonna kind of twiddle it around in my fingers for a minute. I have no idea if she even knows what she's doing with this, but I'm gonna kind of twiddle it around in my fingers, and then just kind of, like wait to see if any of the kids kind of approach me
Okay.
Let's kind of do that.
And make a perception check.
Okay.
Just ask yourself.
3.
So you're kind of floating around and looking around, and a couple of the kids kind of regard you as you're one of the only adults in this area. Like most of them are kind of around the perimeter or whatever, but nobody comes up to you and says anything.
I'm gonna get up and just kind of start tossing it and catch it in my hand. And then I'm gonna go up to. Is there like a little kid that's kind of not facing me?
Sure. Yeah.
Stop.
I can't wait.
Good. I'm gonna kneel down and like as if I'm pretending to take it from behind her ear.
Okay.
Like
Make a performance check.
Goddess.
With
Okay.
You and these
What did you
children,
say?
I don't know.
I don't know where you were going with this.
7. So you go to take it, and as you go to like sort of flip the hand and make the performance, she turns at that moment and she sees you with the thing in your hand, and you kind of go, and she kind of gives you like a funny look, and she has a cup of lemonade, and she kind of just looks at you.
How's the lemonade?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do they do this?
Once a month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's really fun. What's your name? I love your dress.
Thank you. Her name's Lessie.
Hi, Leslie.
And she takes a big kind of step.
What would you say if I asked you, I want a sneaky glass of lemonade?
Lemonade's not for adults.
I know, but what if, just between us as our little secret, I gave you this silver and you get me just a glass of lemonade?
And she looks over to the edge of the circle where it looks like maybe some parents are, and she kind of maybe thinks her parents aren't looking, and she sort of reaches down and she dumps out her lemonade. Okay.
Cheers.
And she takes it, and now she's got an empty cup, so she walks up to the area where the guy's sort of pouring the lemonade. And he's sort of pouring it out, and he sees her at one point, he takes it, and he sort of smiles and takes it, gives it back to her, and she kind of scuttles away, and she comes up to you. Got it?
Thanks so much. Keep it between us, our little secret.
Oh my god.
And I'm gonna take it. And can I kind of tuck it like discreetly between my?
Yeah, it's not a big cup, so you could kind of hold it under.
So I'm gonna kind of now cross my arms.
Sure.
And stand up and give her a huge smile.
She gives you a
and
big
I'm
smile.
going to walk towards the graveyard.
Graveyard time.
Thanks, we're gonna go sit with the dead people now.
Great. So you head in the direction of the graveyard. Are you guys headed in that direction at this point?
What if it's close to 11? Then
It's getting past
Yeah.
10:30. Yeah. So yeah, 10:45.
Throw it back.
Is there also
Think
a way
about
on
all
my
my
way when
friends.
I'm walking? Can I, because I have a flask, can I like take the contents of the cup?
Yeah, if you
and
crouch
reasonably,
down,
like,
if you
kind
sort of find a little
yeah,
corner
kind of
and
find
crouch
a
down.
place
Yeah, I mean
to
the
go.
hole's a little smaller, but if you're sort of careful,
and
make a
I just
dexterity
kinda-
check for me.
Oh,
What if it's just like
don't drop
straight
that cup.
lemonade the whole time? It's just not right.
Just straight dexterity, not skill.
Okay. 11.
11. Okay, so you pour it. It looks like a little bit kind of spools off to the side, but you kind of most of it gets in the flask.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna seal it really tightly and put that back into my kind of knapsack.
Sure.
Throw the cup in the woods.
Just like a kid in high school.
Yeah.
And we will go back to the Institute here.
We're just
Exactly 10 minutes later.
she will wait.
And Orba has finished up a ritual. What are we doing here? As Orba has finished up the ritual, Erland's kind of kept a lookout. No sights, no sounds, as far as you can tell.
I'd like to open my eyes and take a look around.
Open your eyes, and you're looking into the lab, I presume.
Yeah, or I mean, it's 30 feet from me at any point, so like I'll of course look all around me, but primarily.
How long does it last?
Hold on. Up to 10 minutes.
So you see in the room primarily a reddish glow in a sort of cube shape surrounding the center sort of area where all the furniture has been pushed into.
Yeah.
And it's an evocation spell.
Uh-huh.
You can recognize the School of Magic.
Uh-huh.
And that's glowing enough that it's hard to, like, you can't pick out a particular item in there, but you
Yeah.
can see that this reddish shimmer is surrounding that center area where all of the lab equipment has been pushed into.
And I'm sorry, new wizard here. Remind me, evocation is what does that school tend to focus on mostly?
It's like creating something physical out of magic. You would also, I mean, again, having seen this before, it looks like a wall of force. It looks like a wall of force spell.
Okay. Which is what I think the other thing was, right?
When you were
When
in
I was
Brickrock.
underground.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What do you see, Tiefling?
Okay, Erland. It seems like the reason why this room is in such a weird state of disarray is everything in the center is in the wall of force spell. It's a barrier spell. I'm assuming most magic cannot penetrate it.
Make an Arcana check.
Yeah, 24.
Oh wow.
You do, from your studies, recall quite a bit. You know that it cannot be dispelled by dispel magic.
Okay.
You know that a disintegrate spell, which is a powerful spell, could destroy it. It's a high sort of level wizard spell.
Okay.
And another thing you remember is that it does only have a duration of 10 minutes. So that for it to have been up this long, assuming it's been up this
Yeah.
time, something is keeping it up.
Okay.
So you remember
An inanimate
that.
object can sustain a spell like that?
Maybe.
Or
I don't think you know the answer to
person
that.
could. Okay,
Yes.
great.
You definitely know that a person could.
Sure. Yeah. So I relay that information to him. So either Marvin's pretending to be sleeping right now, or quietly, microphones. Either Marvin is pretending to be sleeping right now, or he has some kind of special device that keeps this thing going.
Would you be able to see anyone invisible with what you just did?
Well, yeah, detect magic would catch. Not if they're in the thing, though, right?
I think no is the. I think you need true sight to be able, which is different than. I think no.
Okay. No.
But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say, even if you could, you don't see any invisible figures as far as you can tell.
And just based on her passing this along to Erland, can people go through that sort of what's the spell? A forced wall?
Wall of force?
force.
No.
It's
You would have to take it down, move through it, and put it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't last time. Last time we were stuck.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But
stuck on
noise
the
can
other
get
side.
through it, correct? No noise.
Can noise come out of it?
Probably.
I don't know.
You don't necessarily know the answer. Probably
so
not.
He can't hear us. We can't hear him.
Correct.
At least if he screams, no one will be able to hear.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're seeing the silver lining here. Well, at least we can try to open the gate then.
Is the ground in the surrounding area? Because I was looking at the dust when I came up.
Sure.
Is the ground in that surrounding area? Does it seem like all the stuff was recently pushed into that? Do you know what I mean? Like, has it just settled around, or is it like moved in?
It looks very clean. It looks like even you can't even tell. It looks like it's been swept.
Yeah.
Like the floor looks very clean. It looks like at least in the lab area, people have kept up cleaning it.
I don't think there's anything we're gonna learn skulking here any longer.
I agree. What if I open the spell or open the gate with mage hand so that you aren't vulnerable as you're opening it, because we don't know who's on the other
Good.
side of this wall.
Yes.
All right. I open.
Quiet. Can you do it quietly?
I can whisper.
No. Like, can you?
No, I need verbal to cast this spell.
She makes a little bit of noise.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I
the gate?
can you
I'm
make
gonna
it-
try.
Pull it slowly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I try to really quietly.
And the hand appears, and you grab sort of like an iron sort of handle, and it kind of as you pull it, it's not quiet. It's kind of.
Okay, stop for a second.
Is anyone stirring? Anyone?
Not that you can tell.
Oh. Okay, keep going. I'm sort of at the ready here.
And it
To a point where we can just slip through.
it's big enough to walk through.
All right. Remembering what happened last time I saw this, I am ready for anyone to appear anywhere.
I can't give you that.
Holding like an action?
No, I just mean
Yeah,
like
are
I
you
want-
ready?
Yeah, but he just appeared and stabbed, and so I want.
He was invisible.
Yeah. So I want in
Just got your
proximity
wits
to
about
me.
you?
Yeah, I have my wits
Sure.
about me. I'm kidding.
You can have that.
Wits is hot.
I'm allowed wits.
Yes. I'll give you that.
I would like to slowly and as sort of quietly as possible. I want to sort of start ascending the stairs so I can perhaps see the entire room, like get a better view of the entire room.
You do so. You get in. Are you going through where the gate was?
First I'm like arising to get a sense of the room.
Sure. I mean, again,
nothing-
as far as off to the sides as you can see, it's the same. Again, it's this sort of gap between the wall and the center.
Still only the two, the one door and the
the
alcove.
only doors you can see. Yeah.
Okay. And proceed slowly through the gate.
You do
Sort of
so.
Step through. And I'm there.
You are in the lab.
I'm there.
Okay, I want to quietly walk around the edge towards the living quarters, and I want to hear and see. I want to make sure no one's in there.
Okay, make a perception check and a stealth check. Give me one of both.
What do you want first?
Perception first.
16.
16. Just don't hear or see anyone as far as you can tell.
7 on stealth.
7. So you're walking a little bit through, and it's kind of dark in here. I mean, you do have dark vision, but again, these sort of like one of the sort of arches that's holding up the ceiling was sort of blocking kind of a metal kind of torch holder that you sort of hit as you're going the perimeter. It kind of rattles a little bit.
Freeze.
You don't hear or see anything.
Okay, so there's no one in the living quarters that I can see.
Yeah.
I want to, if I'm like by the living quarters then,
There's an alarm going off in Marvin's
Go ahead,
lab.
keep going. I just had a realization. Keep going.
do you want
No, do what you think.
So I'm gonna then we have the living quarters. I want to walk towards that door that's right there,
The living quarter opening?
Well, so there's the living quarter opening and then there's the door to the hallway, I presume?
So if you're going, you went around the left side, so you went to the left, so you will pass by the living quarter opening before you get to the door.
Well, that's fine. So I want to look inside the living and make sure no one's in there or see what is in there.
Sure. Do you want to take a peek inside?
I would like to take a peek inside.
Great. So you look in, and there's a modest, unkempt kind of sleeping quarters. A cot with straw mattress, nightstand that looks like it has 2 drawers, and a slanted drafting table that looks like it has a couple pieces of parchment on it that might have been drawn on. And it's pretty bare in there.
Anything of note on that drafting board that I would recognize?
Would you like to take a second to look through, kind of?
Not if it's if it's not overt. If it's not like overt from where I'm standing, I don't need to investigate.
Okay, yeah, you can't see from where you're standing.
So I want to continue proceeding quietly towards that door.
Sure.
And I just want to like listen on the other side of the door, hear if I hear anything.
Make another perception check. And Orba, you're kind of watching this happen on the. So you're still in the staircase?
No, I think I've come up to the opening of the door, or maybe like followed him up to the point of the living quarters.
Okay, sure.
13 on the perception check.
13, you kind of listen in. Don't hear anything. And you take a look at the door as well, and it's not locked. It has kind of a metal latch that you would lift up and pull the door open, but there's no lock on it. So it might make noise, but there's no lock on it.
Does it seem like it's only able to open from the inside? Is that what you're saying with the latch?
It seems like if you closed it from the inside, anyone on the other side would not be able to get in.
Oh, great.
It locks from the inside.
Okay, good. Yeah. So it seems like it is currently in the sort of
it has
position.
one of those like U-shaped metal and then like a bar, so you could lift up the bar and open it.
Is my detect magic when I look into the cot area revealing anything?
You do not see anything.
Okay.
You peek in there.
So now that I've been walking around the sort of center of stuff, can I make any sense of this? Can I see on the other side of it, like what if he's bleeding, if he's hurt, if he's breathing?
Make a perception check.
12.
You can't see much of him because he's obscured by so much furniture, but something unusual catches your eye. There's a chair tilted at an unnatural angle with 2 of its front legs off the ground, almost as if it's leaning against something, but there's nothing there. And if you didn't know, Orba has sort of relayed the information, but again, it sort of gives you that impression that there is a solid surface keeping the interior.
Oh, it's like leaning against that.
It's leaning against air,
Yeah,
yes, but Orba can see a red shimmer, but it does, so what you learn from that basically is just that it does seem to go all the way around. It's not like one wall, it's like a cage.
But I can't tell if he's breathing?
You'd have to get a little closer.
I'm going to look at Orba and see if she wants to relay anything to me. No, but I mean just because I've been doing a lot of stuff, I want to sort of check in and see.
Yeah, what is Orba up to?
Erland, if I'm remembering correctly.
You're talking across the whole room.
Got it. I join him.
Okay.
Erland, last I remember, I think my mage hand was able to go through the wall. I could maybe cast it and see if I could tap him on the shoulder or something.
Your mage hand was not able to go through the wall.
It wasn't?
You
Something
tried.
was able to go through the wall.
You made like a rumbling because it wasn't directly through the wall. You did it in the earth off to the side.
No, I think I specifically remember one of the things went through the wall.
Thaumaturgy on the ground.
No.
That's what I'm saying. The thaumaturgy made like a rumbling in the earth. Mage hand definitely did not go through.
Smacked up against
You
it.
cast it.
Alright,
and
never mind.
She takes it back.
I go back in time.
Sure.
And there's no, as we're sort of walking around, it doesn't seem like there's any disturb. It's just clean right around the whole edge of the.
There's an open walkway around the perimeter of this interior mass of furniture.
Very, very slowly. I want to proceed close enough to see. Am I behind this? If he's down here, I want to be behind him.
Okay, sure. You can approach from that.
Yeah, so I want to approach from that angle, and very slowly I want to see if he's breathing. I want to see if he's breathing or bleeding or.
You get up. How close are you getting to the edge of where the furniture is, basically?
As close as I need to be in order to see.
Okay, you have to get pretty close, but you sort of peek up over kind of there's sort of some racks of vials and things that you have to kind of peer between, and you see kind of a breathy sort of chest, sort of his back rising ever so slightly. Seems alive at the very least.
Can I reach my hand out and put it up against because Orba's described this wall. Can I put my hand against the wall?
Yeah.
Does it feel solid?
Reach your hand forward and it feels solid.
I'm going to sort of gesture knocking, looking at Orba, and give it like a light knock.
Light knock. And you do the it makes kind of a hollow sound.
Actually, as I'm doing that, I want to pull out. I have the facsimile that we created.
Sure, it's not the actual one.
It's not the actual one. It's the
recreation.
facsimile.
Sure.
And I want to have it up against, and I want to do the knock holding it.
And you see a little. He sort of rolls his head off to the side, and he seems like he's rising a little bit. And he kind of rubs his eyes as he picks his head up off his desk. And he uses a loose sleeve of his robe to kind of wipe a bit of sweat away from his forehead.
And I want this in a way that it's obscuring my face so he can't see that it's...
Okay, you're also behind him right now with this.
Oh, great. But if you were to turn around,
he would not be able to.
I want
sure.
to...
Yeah, you can do that. You get close enough to it that, Yeah, you can do that.
But that I can see him still, obviously.
And you take a little peek and you can catch a glimpse of the side of his face as he's kind of turning and rising and stretching out his limbs a little bit. Stubble that runs over a square jaw, down his neck from days of kind of neglect of not shaving. Sunken eyes, cracked lips. And without looking at all as to where the sound's coming from, he rests his head on his hand and he reaches over and he grabs a quill. He dips into an inkwell and he grabs a piece of parchment that he slides over. And he begins to write. And he starts writing. And he writes something on a piece of parchment. And then without even looking, he reaches up.
Wow.
And he sort of turns. And he slaps it on the wall. What do you do?
This way.
Yeah, there you go. So he hasn't even looked at me.
No, he's still kind of he's even doing this kind of behind. And he's rubbing
Is he
his eyes.
dressed like an adept as well?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, just in general look, sure.
Can Orba go to the opposite side of where Erland is and
Which
see
would
what
be in front of him.
Yeah, I don't want to see the sign, but I want to see what other view of him I can get. Can he see his? He sees his face.
You can kind of see the side of his face.
Or Orba wants to get a look at his face.
Sure. What
So
about? I described his face. What other about his face?
Oh,
are you
okay.
looking
No.
for?
I just wanted to be sure that I had a. I was
Sure.
able to see him. Never mind.
Are you trying not to be seen by him?
No.
Oh, okay.
So where does he put this up in relationship to me?
It's on the wall. You're looking right at his back.
Yeah.
He sort of slapped it up on the wall to his left, which is also your left.
Okay, so I can see that from where I'm standing?
No, you have to walk around a little bit, but not far. You'd be able
Great,
to
so I want to walk around so that I can see it, sort of keeping my page up as well against the thing.
Oh my god.
It's so funny about that.
And are you getting close?
Yeah.
And he kind of, for a second, he sort of takes it down, and he sort of groggily takes a look out, and he sees it, and he gets close to the wall.
Erland, I think he wants you to drop the paper.
Oh my god.
And you can see he's kind of touching the wall lightly.
What does his facial expression look like it's conveying? Confusion? So he's telling me to lower it so I can ask.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna lower it and look at him.
He looks, and he's a human man, so you presume he doesn't have dark vision, and he kind of squints a little, and takes the lamp, that was the flickering lamp, and he holds it up to your face, and he looks. And he puts the lamp down, and he rubs his eyes, and he goes back to his desk, and he dips his ink, and he's writing quickly.
Yeah.
And he smiles at you, and that's where we're gonna go to break.
Oh my god.
This guy loves you.
Oh my god, he's a friend.
So that's where we're gonna go to break. We'll
He's
pick
a
it
friend,
up.
not a
back there when we get back. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll take a little dinner break. We'll slip right back into it.
Matthew, before you change the camera.
Oh, yes.
The cam got bumped somehow.
Why was I so off? Nope, not that
did?
far.
I don't know.
Nope, too far.
I'm trying. Sorry.
A little the other way.
Sorry, my
A little more the other way.
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
There you go.
Got it.
Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you, Chad. I think that was teachings.
Gotcha.
Thank you guys, and we'll bring it back in just a little bit.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Akani.
Oh my god.
notes about the glass.
Yes. Thank you very
I'm
much.
gonna do a quick. If I do it this way, okay, good.
Yeah.
Because now I won't be blocked. The microphone's
You
not
can
blocked.
still put messages.
Yes, and I can still go. Great.
He has more to say to me via notes?
No, he's dead.
Okay.
So
That's not funny. That is not funny.
we're going to head outside for a moment,
Yeah, I thought so.
where Graven and Beezaura have started to make their way north through the streets of Mukmu. And they, Safira, were you continuing to head to the cemetery?
Yeah, once I've poured my flask, I'm not in the cemetery.
Okay, so we'll head to you first. And you get to the city limits. And you find yourself on the top end of this downward slope. And you weren't there before, were you, in the original visit to the cemetery? Okay. So this time, as you're sort of heading out, there's very little foot traffic. And you see a man that you don't recognize, who seems to be heading in the opposite direction, not too far away from you. And he's carrying a length of rope and a number of wooden stakes over his shoulder. And it seems he goes a distance, puts a stake in the ground, and he takes a little mallet off his belt, and it sticks in, and he takes the rope, and he wraps it around a few times, and he continues forward, and he's sort of looping these lengths of rope along the side of the road. And it looks like not between every pair of posts, but there's a few hanging signs on the rope that say, "Do not enter." He's sort of roping off this area towards the cemetery.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I see a path that I can go through to the cemetery that's not blocked off, or?
I mean, again, you could step over the rope. It seems to be, it's not like a wall, it's precautionary.
Okay, I'm just gonna step over the rope,
Okay.
seeing that he's doing this, and kind of see if he stops me.
Sure, so you take a step over, and he seems to hear a little bit of crunching, and he turns, and he looks up at you, and you see muscular, tall, half-elf man, sideburns, and he sort of starts to walk in your direction. He puts down a couple of things. Excuse me. No one should be coming in or out of the cemetery at this time.
Oh, sorry, I've been told there was a contract. I'm sure I'm here early without I may have lost track of my friends.
Oh,
What's your name?
the Goliath and the half-elf and
Yep.
the halfling friends of yours.
Yeah, I think they should be on their way, as far as I know.
There are more coming, yes, and you see kind of a worried sort of look.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just the first. I lost them earlier. They were running some, I don't know, errands.
Gravekeeper Yannick, nice to meet you.
Safira, pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Thank you for coming. I have everything close to set up.
Okay, can I help with anything?
I think I'm pretty close if you want to help me set up some of these posts too.
And I kind of hold out my hand to get...
He hands you a couple, and he's got a sort of separate length of rope that he hands to you.
Okay, and I kind of mimic what, I can kind of start to mimic what
Yeah,
he's
and he
doing.
appreciates the help, and the two of you kind of go one mallet, and you loop the rope, and the two of you are kind of moving along. And Graven and Beezaura come along, and by this time they've set up a pretty good length. I mean, he can't obviously make it all the way down the path, but he's trying to block off enough of it to give people a heads up to stay out of this area. And you see sort of, 100 feet or so down, you can recognize the outline of Safira and Gravekeeper Yannick, who you've met. You guys.
She seems to have beat us here.
She found us. That's good.
Yes. Let's go see if the others have arrived.
Yeah, let's see if anyone else has shown up yet as well.
And they turn back towards your direction, and the two of them see you.
Safira.
Hi.
Good evening.
Yannick.
Yannick.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
You mentioned there might be more than 3. Are there more coming?
They know what time they're supposed to be here.
We do hope to. It's 11:30.
Like, just 11:30, 11:45?
We are expecting 2 more.
All right. We'll wait a little then. We can head down towards the mortuary, if you like.
All right.
Sure.
He leads you down. He steps over the rope and sort of, he holds it down while other people step over it.
Maybe you could explain a little bit of what you'll be attempting. A little bit
Yes.
more detail.
Of course. And he allows you to sort of walk through, and as you do so, you see out in the graveyard, and he kind of sort of stops you for a moment. You can see they begun to agitate among the gravestones. And you take sort of a look, and they're not like up and sort of moving around in an obvious way. You see a little flicker like behind a gravestone and then go behind it, or a little sort of hand emerge and go back down. You see like little things here and there, just across. And he's sort of pointing them out to you as they happen. He seems to have a pretty good sort of view of his graveyard.
Is this a typical timing, a typical amount?
This actually seems pretty quiet, but it's early still. Just step lightly.
Sure.
And leads you sort of among through the gravestones. And you get close to where you guys had gone before, that little small stone building, sort of laboratory examination room. Everything should be set up and ready to go inside of the mortuary. I'll be in there doing the... And he sort of almost says it quietly, even though there's no one around. Desecration. And then I would think you all would want to be on the outside, making sure that no one enters in or disturbs me.
Exactly.
Hopefully, it shouldn't take any longer than a couple of minutes once I've started.
For them to approach you.
For me to be able to speak to them.
Okay, good.
And just for practical reasons, I don't know if we've ever totally laid this out. A minute in combat is 10 rounds, just so you are aware of that.
Wow.
Each round is 6 seconds.
And he said it could be a few minutes.
He said a couple minutes. Could be. He's estimating.
Got it.
Great.
Oh my god.
I'm so glad my friends are coming.
Before we start, is there anything
Are
we
they
should-
not coming?
Oh,
Never mind.
sorry,
Rewind.
that was Anthony.
Sorry, I thought you were saying
Sorry,
that.
no.
Mr. Yannick,
Yes.
is there anything we should do before we start this ceremony? Is there any way that we could pay our respects?
Well, you could, except I think that would quite defeat the purpose.
Right, I suppose so.
There's a couple of things for me to show you. Should we wait for your friends, or would you like me to explain now?
Look, I think if they're not here now, we better just
Get
try to
started.
go with it.
Alright, well, it can take a couple minutes for me to explain, and hopefully they'll arrive.
Please.
You see those, and he points up, and there's on the... It looks like there's lanterns, but not quite. On 3 corners of the mortuary, there's these metal sort of cages with a handle that's hanging. But on the interior, it's more of a sphere. It's not kind of a cylinder like you'd see a lantern, like the glass surrounding the flame in a lantern. And inside, it has kind of a glowing green essence that's moving very slowly inside it. Like a fog, almost. Like a very small fog. These orbs contain pestifer. If you break the glass, it emits a bright light that impedes incorporeal beings and pushes them back. It won't work against a physical embodiment like a skeleton or something like that. But any spirits, ghosts, specters, they'll be spent sprawling. If you get overwhelmed at any time or they get too close to me, you can break the glass, push them back, and buy some time. But there's only 3, so use them sparingly.
Of course.
I also recommend you avert your eyes when you do so. You may be disoriented by the flash. Understand?
Well,
Yeah.
if they've made it all the way inside, God's willing they don't, but will it... What would happen to them if they were already inside here and we let one of those go?
It's a light, so they probably wouldn't see it. You'd have to use it before they got inside.
Okay. They're hanging on the outside?
Yeah, so there's 4 corners, and they're hanging. The three of the 4 corners each have one of these like hanging bulbs.
When you're done the desecration,
Yes.
will you let us know, or will we just know?
When I start, I imagine they will start to approach, and it will be on you to repel them.
Right.
But you'll
You're sure this is
immediately
the
come
only
out
way?
after you've...
No. Once I do it, I will start attempting to communicate.
From
within.
inside.
Yes. I will not be able to assist you. Not without breaking the trance.
Right.
Now, if we get overwhelmed, I can break it, but we may risk failing this experiment altogether.
Will we know when you have started communicating with them?
As soon as I perform the surgery, it should begin. And I will tell you when.
Got it.
All right.
There's also one more thing.
What's that?
Do me a favor. Don't tell Cedric Skentz about it. And he leads you sort of around the side, and on the other side of the mortuary that you couldn't see from where you were standing, he reveals a small ballista tied to a pulley that looks like it's leading up to the roof. And the slide of the ballista has been rigged up so that it's sort of cylindrical, and you can see a sort of canister in the loading part of the ballista, and it has that same green foggy essence that's in the lanterns. If you can help me get this on the roof, you can fire Pestifer over a great distance to keep the spirits at bay. It can be slow to reload it, but if the fighting gets up close, you may be better off with your own weapons.
Alright.
What is the range on this?
It should be effective
Contraption.
for close to 200 feet.
Right. So,
It's quite exciting.
the idea being if we see a great mass.
It will only hit one target, probably. I would aim for anything that looks of a particularly large threat.
Right.
And why aren't we telling Cedric?
There's a ballista in here. I don't think that.
Not exactly graveyard approved.
Understood.
How many canisters?
And he sort of takes, there's sort of a little rack of, it would look like jars, as if it was, for foodstuffs, but he has sort of a thing and he pulls it over and he's sort of counting them out. Looks like 24.
Wow. Okay. And how long to load, would you say?
Again, and he sort of explains it to you. I'll tell you the sort of practical elements to it.
Okay.
So, and people write this down depending on who's operating it. It has a +4 to hit as you're firing it. And it deals 1d10 bludgeoning damage because of the impact of the glass. So the glass will hit it, and it will deal 1d10 bludgeoning damage. And then if the creature is incorporeal, like a spirit, a ghost, not like a physical creature, it's pushed 100 feet in the opposite direction on a hit. So it hits, and it goes, shoots in the other direction with the sort of impact of the light.
Okay.
It takes an action to fire it, and it takes an action to reload it. But it does not have to be the same person. So if you're in a team, one person can load, fire, load, fire.
Sweet.
It also takes, and as we sort of get into it, we can revisit this if you need to. It's heavy and it's on sort of a rotating thing, but it takes a bonus action to rotate it 90 degrees.
90 degrees.
So if you need to turn it all the way around, you couldn't turn it 180 degrees in one round because you only have one bonus action.
wow.
Okay.
And it also has a
90 degrees bonus
Yep.
action.
And it has a minimum hit distance of 30 feet. You cannot hit something because you're sort of on the roof, so you can't be aiming down. It has to be at least 30 feet away to hit anything with it.
30 to about 200.
Yeah, 200 for practical for 200
Right.
feet. 197 feet.
That is impressive.
What is the solution called?
Pestifer.
So, you'd like to install this on the roof?
Yes, if we could. And he sort of mentions to the rope, you're going to help him. So go ahead and pull on it. And the two make an athletics check.
Don't drop it.
That's right. 20.
Ooh, great. And so you and him, and the two of you, strong, and the two of you grab it, and it lifts, and it's kind of rotating as it's lifting up, and it goes all the way up. And there is a ladder on one side of it. He's like, if someone could, and he points.
I'm gonna start climbing the
You climb up the ladder, and you get to the top, and you don't need to pull it, but you guide it over as they kind of hold it taut, and you kind of move it over, and then Graven and him, no, and he lets it go a little bit, gives it a little slack, and it's up there on the roof.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I want to fire that second.
I'm not sure who would prefer to be up on the roof.
I kind of get my arrow out over around my shoulder and, like, you know, look, I can shoot. I've got a few arrows that have been tipped with silver. So
How many did you get? 10? Is that what you got?
20.
20, okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure you keep track of
Might
silver
make
arrows.
more sense if you stay up there.
So I think, yeah, if anything, I'll start with my arrows as they get closer.
I mean, I can also cast divine light from up there.
Look,
I can't really do much, so I'm gonna stay down on the ground.
Would you feel confident on the ground by yourself to begin with?
I don't think so.
All right.
Depending on how many spirits I
Just thought I'd ask.
I don't think I could take them all by myself.
All right. Well,
I'm happy to cover you.
if it comes to the point and I can join you up there,
Right.
we'll see.
My brother's body lies inside. I'm going to make the final preparations. Just take a couple of minutes. Feel free to discuss your strategy, and I will inform you before I start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And he nods and he opens the door and closes the door.
Well, I don't know if the others are coming.
It is pushing it a little close.
Erland seemed like he was dedicated to the mission.
I did.
Yeah.
Wonder what's kept him.
I don't know. Definitely have to ask him.
Yeah, well, we can hope that it's something vitally important.
But
To
we're
him.
here. So,
So
we should get prepared.
you'll be on the roof. We'll start out on the ground.
Yeah.
If you
You call.
If you
if
see
you
something,
get into
yeah.
some kind of trouble, then you call. I
Or-
come down.
yeah,
And
or
you'll
if you
see
see
it.
something that we
You can see
don't seem
farther
to
than
be.
we can.
Yes.
So, is it just Safira on the roof? So, remember that you can't fire the ballista and shoot an arrow in
Yeah.
the same turn. Okay,
No,
as long as you know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll give you a little bit of visual representation.
Thanks.
Make
Here
sure
we
it's
go.
This is like
Oh.
a planned
Here
battle.
you go. Excuse me.
We knew it was gonna be. Screen. That's quite the graveyard. Thanks for all the help, pal.
So, this is the graveyard. So, just a little
Oh my god.
It's so pretty.
really pretty.
Gorgeous.
Now, this
You think
is
so?
the mortuary there in the center.
Yep.
Now, this is, for this battle, is zoomed out. So each square is 10 feet, not 5.
Oh my god.
Oof, okay.
Because the area is expanding. So, because you're looking out into the... So you can see, a good ways into the distance. Certainly if you have night vision, you can see, and there's lanterns around.
Just
around.
Safira.
If you're fighting close by, there's lanterns hanging by the mortuary, so there's enough light to not be sort of at a disadvantage there.
Right.
So let me grab you guys.
You guys, this is gonna get out of hand.
This is gonna go.
We still got some time.
Who's we?
Like we
You guys are
It
big.
hasn't been 2 hours yet.
Raven and Beezaura, kind of at the entrance to the and Safira's on the roof there. We're calling that outside. She's not inside the building. And then let's get.
All the spirits.
Well, no. First, I'm doing. So there's 3 lamps hanging on the corners.
With the pestis dest.
Pestifer.
Pestifer.
So there's one of those
Pest dispensers.
on each of the corners.
Oh my god.
And then there's also the cannon or the ballista. Need something that has a direction to it. There we go. I get it eventually. So we'll call this the sort of ballista here. So see how it goes up and down. It's gonna be hard to see from where you are, but see how it goes up and down. There's like a center
Yeah.
port to
Oh,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the portion that it's facing. So you'd have to turn it in order to fire this way. You have to rotate it.
And you can only do 90 degrees at a time.
Yes, but it can fire in a 90-degree arc. So it can fire anywhere here. But if you wanted to hit here, here, or here, you'd have to rotate it.
Oh, okay.
So you can move it a little bit without it costing a bonus action. You
But the
just can't
bonus is like-
rotate it all the way around. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what the area looks like.
Y'all are gonna be great.
I know.
You're gonna do so well.
Yeah.
That's all up there. So you guys have a
Well-
moment here to yourselves as Yannick is kind of.
Perhaps we'll spread a little bit out. One of us at each corner. Okay. Okay. Graves. Where is that?
They're all over the place. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
In circles. So all those like shimmerings and the things and the hands.
We don't know how
We
many
see
there are right
them.
now.
It doesn't look like any are super close to you at the moment, and again, you don't necessarily know where they're going to rise from when he starts the ritual. Yes, so
Right.
you don't have necessarily a sense of where they're coming from.
Okay. Yeah, but perhaps we should stay kind of at the corners here.
Right.
Spread out a little bit.
So you want to go as cool as hell.
Yeah.
Are at the corner there,
Something like
Graven at
that.
another
Yeah.
corner.
What do you think?
That works.
Good.
That's,
Keep your eyes open up there, Safira.
What does that mean?
it means keep your eyes open up there. It means exactly what he said.
Graven's just gonna
was,
shrug and like
I'm kind of.
like, watch out for us. That's what he means.
So and again, so 30-foot. So this can't 1, 2, 3. This sort of area you can't hit with the ballista. You know,
Right.
It's sort of an estimation, but 5 or 10, 20, 30. So like in a square around it.
and the raised
It's just terrain texture.
terrain. Okay, I love it. I love it.
It's the shrubberies.
Shrubberies. Excellent.
Any other questions about sort of the layout?
Are these like so they're not distinct like paths out of the little openings there? It's just
No, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's not difficult. There's raised sort of elevations and stuff, but
Yeah.
nothing that would make
Right.
a big enough difference to.
where's like the wall? Is there the wall?
Is
of
that
the
really
city?
bad?
That's
Kind
so
of
it's further this way. It's
further
like
that way.
yeah.
So when
it's
we
further.
came down a path.
This
like,
is the
kind of over
path
here.
that way. You came this way, and the wall is now this way.
Great.
So we're actually facing the city.
You are facing this at the moment, right? The way you are standing, you're facing the city. Yes.
Hey, got a good view?
It's beautiful.
Yeah? Feels nice. Great.
You are on like a depressed lane, so you're a little
Oh, never
below
mind.
sort of the
Yeah.
city line.
All right. Well,
All right.
let's do it then.
We don't have watches, but
Game time.
yeah.
And you guys are sort of standing around, sort of discussing the battle strategy, and you hear the door open up. Could I borrow Graven for a moment inside?
I suppose.
If you must.
Thank you. We'll begin very soon. He leads you inside. And you enter, and there's a stark difference between the last time you were here. On every surface, trays, blades, hooks, vials, tomes opened up. Some open to a particular page that looks like it has diagrams or sigils. And laying on the central examination table is a body. And though some candles have been lit and there are some jars with fragrant substances, nothing can mask the familiar scent of death. And the body's covered with a sheet, except for his toes, blackened with decay, and a face. Features still distinguishable despite some protruding bone and teeth. It's definitely a half-elf. Are you a God-fearing man?
Some of them may have my respect.
I am determined. But though this little show I'm putting on for the dead is a farce, I worry that the gods will judge me. I would like a man of God to be here when I make the first cut, so they can see I am not hiding in shame. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm ready to begin when you are. And he sort of walks behind you and opens the door, and he kind of hollers out a little bit. We're going to begin.
Is he coming back out?
Yes. Keep your wits about you. He'll be out in a
I
moment.
kind of hearing that I have my
Sure.
bow
Ready.
like
I put my hand on my flash.
Sure. And he closes the door. And he goes over to the body. And he picks up a pair of knives. He takes 2 of them. And he sort of stands there at the edge of the table. And he takes a couple deep breaths. And he's sort of moving the knives sort of back and forth in his hand slightly. And he begins to speak in a language you don't understand. Sounds like Elvish. He's a half-elf man. Hiya, Neolisiev, and Nanif Wonan, Piece of Sifi knife. And he stops, and it seems like he's tensing up for a moment. And he stabs the 2 daggers in, and he begins to cut along the length of the body. And he continues to talk as he's doing so. and he's carving back and forth. And then he leaves them in there, and he grabs a book off of the shelf and begins to flip. And he sort of holds his hand out. And he goes into this sort of thing, and he looks over to it very briefly, and he nods, go. And he sort of begins to talk, and you can feel sort of the energy of the room. Nothing changes physically, but you can feel the energy of the room changing. And you go outside, close the door behind you, and you look to your companions.
It's begun.
Let's do it.
Initiative rolls for the three of you.
Go ahead.
Oh, yes. If you
Oh.
Matt, are you announcing anything?
Not yet.
Great.
You will be at the top of the round for at least this
Right.
round, and we'll add as they show up.
Just
so yeah,
shout
just
out
the
what
three
you
of you for now.
19.
19-4.
10.
Great. Graven, Safira, Beezaura.
I
And
said
you keep the numbers on there too.
Yeah.
I said I'm going!
Everybody ready?
Not really, but sure.
All right.
You got this?
Graven, Safira, Beezaura.
Real quick. Undead.
Yep.
Are ghosties undead?
Most of them, yes. Yeah.
So stuff that says like undead in my spells. And
You
stuff
would presume, based
to
on
affect-
Yannick's description, that is you are fighting, if not entirely, mostly undead creatures at this point.
Love
Yes.
it. Okay.
Okay. And as you guys sort of stand there, posed and ready, sort of keeping an eye out, we're going to switch over to the Institute for a moment. You guys
The Institute.
Put that there.
switch over to the play screen for a moment.
Oh, the mace is useless.
Come on, Flo.
That's good.
And you stand there, looking at what you presume to be Marvin Bishop holding the page across the glass. And he has the sign up. You made it. And you see him, and he sort of looks at you, and he looks at the page, and sort of a brief moment of realization kind of washes over him. And he sort of holds up a finger and kind of, he wants you to sort of follow.
As I do that, I'm going to say to Orba, Tiefling, make sure that chair doesn't fall if he dispels something. I'm
Okay.
going to point at that chair that was leaning.
Yeah, okay. I go over to it.
And he kind of walks you around one of the corners of this invisible sort of walled area. And he goes to a drawer and he opens it up, closes it, and he pulls out and blows the dust off of a book, and he holds it up. Grimari's Giant Grimoire, first edition.
Swear.
And he sort of looks at you, and he smiles, and he puts it down on the desk in front of him, and he pulls out a page that he sort of lightly puts up, and it's the page that you've looked at before.
Yeah.
It's the mirrored inscription page itself, separate
Yes.
from the book. Yes, it looks different. And he sort of smiles at you for a moment, and it seems like he breathes ever so slightly a sigh of relief. And he holds up his hand again, and he motions for you to follow, both of you, sort of.
Okay.
And he leads you to sort of another corner of this office, sort of. He's sort of stepping over some of the things, a chair, kind of a dresser that he has to squeeze by. It's fairly cramped in this area. And he gets to a counter that has three, what look to be globes that are sort of racked on brass stands that allow them for rotation. And Marvin goes to one, and with some effort, it looks like it's heavy, or at least delicate. And he sort of turns it around towards you. And he reveals that one half of the sphere is cut off. So it's really half a globe. And it has this sort of iridescent, shining rim around the edge of it. And as you peer in, you see inside an image of somewhere else. A workshop. Sort of sparse, a desk, a candelabra, a teleportation circle carved into the ground. This is the chamber beneath the fountain at the Festival to Amaso. He has a sort of vision into it.
What the fuck?
Does it seem like that perspective is from where we saw GGGP 216 written?
Oh, explain that
So,
again.
like, if he's looking in, if he has like a vantage point on it, does the position of that vantage point seem to be the place on the wall where it said GGGP 216? Can I tell where on the wall it was? Like,
It
what
looks
might
like it
have
was
been there?
up in a corner. Like it sees down into the room. You
it's
can
like
see the
yeah.
teleportation circle sort of off to the right. There's a desk. If you can't see it because it's very small, but you can see the spot where you remember that being written.
Okay.
So if someone went up to read it and he was looking there, he
Yeah.
would have seen you read it.
Okay.
And he goes to the next one. And he turns it with effort. Turns it around. And you see another room. Familiar to you as one of the areas in the structure beneath Brick Rock. With some changes. It looks like the spot where the teleportation circle was has begun to be disassembled, which you heard from Polnick that they were digging it up. And much of the stonework has been carved up. It looks sort of mostly disassembled. And there's a ladder leaning up against the wall that's in sections where it looks like it's been taken apart. They've sort of dismantled this room, this area. And he sort of turns it to you, and he smiles. And then he thinks for a moment, and he goes back to his desk, and he dips his quill in. And he's blowing on the paper.
Orba gets her quill and paper and stuff out. She just takes out handfuls of paper in preparation for what's about to start. And hands whatever to Erland so he can communicate.
I don't have much paper, but I'm gonna write they couldn't make it.
And it sort of looks a little...
And seeing that, I'm gonna take that one down. They're in Mukmu. We can get them if need be.
And he sort of looks at it and he kind of looks around and he...
Orba writes, are you being held against your will in this? And
He'll hold it up and he reads it. And he takes another page, begins to write.
You knew.
This is going to be difficult.
yeah.
Oh my god.
And sort of mouth, he's here? How long ago?
Hold it up.
Days? She mouths days?
Nice.
Why?
And he sort of is thinking... And he thinks for a moment, he starts to scribble and write.
Oh, he wants him to do this?
He wants you.
To do this. Can you?
And he sort of looks back and looks at you see test tubes, vials. It seems like he was in the process of attempting to do this task, that he was researching this. He sort of gestures to books.
He was expecting the lemonade man perhaps when you first knocked.
When is the lemonade man expected back?
I'm gonna write, are you in danger?
You mentioned that something must be keeping this spell active.
Yes.
Can we ask maybe what it is? Or?
Yeah, do you know the source of this spell?
Wow. Powerful.
That's unfortunate.
He sort of places his hand up against the glass.
Orba, put that hand up. We're going to help him, right?
Do you have any idea how to get out? Or how to... do you have any idea how... Do you have an idea how we can get you out?
He sort of thinks for a moment, and he looks around to a paper that he had already written.
Bring him here? Question mark. Kill him? Question mark.
This is a deep.
Does Ethan know?
He writes for a moment.
Oh, yeah. The one that said he couldn't.
Okay.
How about Adept Melody?
And he looks a little confused, like maybe he doesn't know who that is. Sort of has a confused look on his face.
What do we do? How do we dispel this? What do we do?
You need a very powerful spell. There's no way dispel magic works. You need disintegrate spell, or you need to
And he knocks for a second.
Okay, so I go to his. Can I point to that chair that was leaning and just tell him to?
And he looks over to it and he grabs it. He straightens it out.
Great.
Seems a little confused.
Me too.
I just don't want to fall. So I'm gonna go to. But when we free him, I'm gonna get the smooth stone from the.
So you go into the. Are you looking just where he said? Or are you taking a look around? What are you doing in this room as it's?
Oh, if you're giving me a chance to look around, I'm looking around a little bit.
Make an investigation check.
Loves a good look around.
Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
13.
The only thing that catches your eye, so first you go straight to the dresser, which has 2 drawers, and the first, as you're sort of investigating, you open the top one. Seems like it's just a change of clothes that's there, and you close it, open the next one, and it has sort of a wool blanket in there that if you just opened it, you wouldn't see anything, but knowing that he sort of told you something, you take it out, you sort of rummage through it, and you take out, it seems like a polished black smooth stone.
Okay.
And it has grooves in it, 4 of them, that look like sort of you would place your fingers in the grooves. They're sort of fit nicely to a hand. And that's the stone that he seems to be talking about. And then in addition to that, you take a peek over at his drafting desk, and there's a diagram there of sort of...
Oh my god.
Is that the thing?
Which of the things is it?
Thing.
Is it?
Is it the one in the room with the curse?
It looks very similar to that. Not exactly, but yes, very similar.
Dude, this is running.
Orba writes your work? Question mark.
No, you haven't seen it.
Oh,
Only
sorry,
I have.
sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
You're
no,
right.
no.
You're right. You're not.
You're just staring at the man in the glass.
I'm going to... Did he show us what the third globe had?
No.
Okay.
But so he motioned for you. So have you come
Yeah,
back
I come
with
back
it?
with it, yeah.
Great. So he sees that you have it, and he's sort of writing.
Glasses.
And he points at the stone, and he motions like this. Do you squeeze the stone?
Squeeze the stone.
Yeah, okay, so I squeeze the stone.
So as you do, he goes and takes off a shelf another similar stone, and as you squeeze, it glows like a light, dull blue glow.
Okay, yeah.
Find the GGGP 216.
Like a literal first edition book?
And he nods, and he says, he's sort of pointing, and he writes something out.
Wish I was not 18.
He's sort of looking around as he's writing.
He's going to communicate with us through the book. Where? Where?
He sort of makes a motion, and he sort of points to your hand where you're holding, where you had written the other one. He's,
You don't have one.
We'll find one, I guess.
I mean, he can't lip read to you.
No,
but-
I know.
Is there anywhere that one might be in Mukmu?
Oh.
And you've heard this before, just to relay. So people said Mukmu doesn't really have like a central
Right.
library, so he. And then he walks over and he pulls one out of his drawer and he holds it up.
Oh, fuck me.
What do we do?
What's the floor like? Just out of curiosity, what's the material of this floor?
Stone.
Stone.
Yes. stone.
Okay. Good. Ask your question. Go ahead.
I don't know what that is.
He wants to go downstairs, try to tell him.
I'm gonna write. Should we find the Lemonade Man or find GGG?
And you hold it up, and he takes.
To note how he's gonna communicate with us.
Yeah.
But like, how long will the Lemonade Man keep you
Yeah.
here?
He doesn't know.
Days, months, years? It will take days to get a GGG.
He looks at it.
Why not just kill the Lemonade Man?
Oh my god.
And he sort of tilts his head and.
You could try.
Try to communicate that the Lemonade Man might kill you.
Yeah, he's pretty tough.
And how big is this cube?
This sort of whole area is probably 15 by 15.
Okay.
And he pauses for a moment. And looks like he stops and puts his hand up on the glass. He looks around, and it looks like he walks over to. It looks similar to one of the globes that he turned, but it's just a flat thing, and he pulls it out of a drawer. He sort of pulls the drawer open, he opens it, and he looks in, and he writes for a moment.
Oh my god.
Orba points at both doors, like, which door should we use?
And he looks around, and he points towards the other, like the wooden door away from the stair.
The back stairs.
He points at you until you.
To the front, right? Towards where the
Towards
front
the
is.
hallway is.
Yes, he's towards the hallway. He's telling you to go there.
Oh my god. You guys.
Okay.
All those pages that we wrote, I want to make sure they're in my bag.
You stuff them all back in there, and he seems like he's doing the same. He's gathering up
Okay.
some of the things. He's stuffing them into a drawer.
Dude.
Into the graveyard.
And he kind of-
And we have to go.
Okay.
We're gonna go.
And he looks like he's starting to gather some things, like he's prepping for someone else's.
We're gonna go to that door, the hallway, the door that presumably leads to the hallway, and I want to listen against that to hear if I hear anything.
Make a perception check.
7.
7. You don't hear anything on the other side. Seems like the door's decently thick. It's hard to tell.
Do I hear? What was he responding to when he said they're here? Do I hear anything from downstairs?
Do you want to go back towards the staircase?
No.
It seems like maybe he had like a camera or something. I don't know.
Okay, we didn't see what that third globe was, did we?
A camera with a power button?
We didn't see what that third globe was, did we? Can I
You
see
did
from
not.
where I'm standing?
No, it's facing inward towards him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay, we're going to see him again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like very quietly open that door and like
So it's like a latch. And
yeah. And I want to like as it opens, sort of open the door quietly, but also sort of peer and see if I can see like through
Make
the
a
crack.
stealth check.
There we go. So, sorry, 16.
Great, 16. So you sort of open it and peer in, and it seems like it's a very short hallway.
Yeah.
And so you open it up, and it's probably only another 20 feet, maybe less than, and there's a door at the end, and then there's a door on the left. There's only 2 doors from this small hallway that it opens up to. No one in here. It's dark. There's nothing lit in here.
Sorry, how many doors were there?
Just 2. One directly in front of you, and one off to the left.
All right, I'm gonna motion to Orba to close the door.
I wanted to like just sing. Is he still looking at us, or is Marvin like gathering his things?
He's not. Yeah, he looks like he's getting ready.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And we're gonna go into the door on the left if it's unlocked. I'm gonna see if it's unlocked.
Okay. So you go over to it, and you take a look. It seems like it's locked, but the latch seems very old and worn. It's kind of rusted. The lock seems very flimsy. Like it's sort of, if you hold it, it kind of like rattles a little bit, like the interior part of the lock. It does seem like a decent bump might break it loose.
I know you really want that sketch of you, but
I just want to know what Grimari has. Let's go to the far hallway and just check that door real quietly. Listen here.
Sure, and that's like an iron door. It seems like a much more solid
okay.
door. You can't hear anything on the other side. And it seems like there's a lock on that door, too.
And that lock seems...
In better shape than the one on Grimari's door.
I went to Grimari's office, I guess.
Lucky me. And I'm going to...
And you look at the door, and it's this sort of wooden door that has... It looks like it was once painted with a number of intricate designs, swirling colors, symbols, and even an ornate letter G that's fading ever so slightly away, sort of washed out over time. And also on the other side of the hallway, on the right side that didn't have any doors, there were a number of flower pots. There's nothing in them. It looks like it's just soil, like pots filled with soil. As Melody said, they use this area sometimes for storage of some of their things, but just so you're aware of their surroundings.
Sorry, those pots are on the ground?
Yeah, they're like large. They're like.
And are there plants in them?
No, not that you can tell.
Can Orba grab a pot?
They're big. They
they're
go
like-
up to your knee. They're like big flower pots.
Can I take my flask out and put some of the soil into the flask?
Sure, you do so.
Okay. Just Mike and the soil, maybe, I don't know. Let's go.
So is this the kind of lock that I would need to hit or pull to break? What kind of...
Probably pull. It's like a padlock with a loop,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah. I mean, a good hit might also break
I'm gonna try and grab it and I'm gonna do this relatively quickly because I don't want them to hear. I'm gonna try and break it off.
Make a athletics. We'll give you strength athletics.
Athletics?
Yeah.
6.
Now you wish you had Graven.
6. So you give it a yank, and you're trying to keep the noise down, so you do like a... And it doesn't come loose. It seems like you need to give it a good pull. It might make a little more noise to do so, but...
I'm gonna
Make
do
another
that.
athletics, yep.
10.
10. Okay, so this time you go, and knowing that it sort of required a little extra pressure, and it snaps, and it kind of ping, the little piece of it kind of goes flying, and ting, 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 it kind of lands on the floor.
Can Orba go grab that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I grab
And
that.
I'm going to... Does it sound like anything's on the other side?
Make a perception check.
Oh my gosh.
16.
16. It sounds like the door is closed between you and Marvin's office, but it sounds like there are voices. Can't really make out what they're saying, but it sounds like a conversation has started.
Oh no.
I'm gonna quietly open Grimari's door.
Okay. And it opens up.
I'm not going in. I just want to... I'm opening it first.
So you crack the door, and a little wave of hot air washes over you. The contrast between the cool hallway and this sort of moist heat, sending a confused kind of shiver up and down your body. And in front of you in this decent-sized office are racks and racks of organic matter. As Melody said, this place is used because of the warmth of the room to store organic matter. And it has hanging planters with vines that are kind of curling and tapering off the side. Buckets of soil that have little ferns growing out of them, flowers, saplings, cactus-looking plants, a tank of water that looks like it has a thin layer of algae growing on the top of it.
Yeah.
And you can see on the opposite wall the outline of a brick sort of chimney. So you know that the furnace is on the first floor and it has a sort of brick chimney that's leading up through Gamari's office and then up to the roof.
Okay.
And
There's no access point to that chimney from that room.
From this room, no. That room that you're in, no. And it has a lot of kind of odd smells that you can't quite place. These sort of unusual plants that aren't familiar to you. There's a hint of licorice. There's something that smells vaguely minty. There's another scent that kind of has a musty old shoe smell. Kind of the smells kind of wafting in from the room. Mm-hmm. And that's what's in front of
Is there a window?
Yeah,
There
window.
is a window on the far wall.
I'm going to say to Orba, open the window. And I'm going to very quietly go back to the door that Marvin was in and try and listen.
Okay.
Erland.
You can definitely hear the whispered voices. To get anything, you'd have to crack the door open.
Okay. Do I know how loud
It's not
was...
worth it.
How loud was the door when I opened it?
Not terribly.
Well, but it's locked from the outside. You can't open it from the outside.
It doesn't automatically click shut once you go through.
Okay.
You pulled the latch up and pushed through, and when you went all the way through, you can't close it from your side. You know what I mean?
Well,
So there's a
lock it.
latch
Yeah.
on the side in Marvin's lab. So you had to pull up the latch, push the door open, and then once you went through and closed the door, this latch is just up, and you can't close it because you're on the wrong side of the door.
How many voices are inside?
Make a perception check.
Nosy,
Nat 20.
It sounds like just one.
And can I tell how far away from that door that voice is?
It seems far enough that the conversation is at least happening in that central area. It's not like right on the other side of the door. It's hard to get an exact.
Orba's gonna see him lingering and say, Erland, if you are caught with that door open, Marvin's life is in danger.
Can I hear what kind of voice it is? Like human or what language it is now?
It is your call, but you do what you want.
I'll tell you, this is not a voice that you would be able to recognize a voice, and it's not a voice that you recognize.
Male or female voice?
Male voice.
Male voice.
Lemonade mail?
I never met. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
just
being an idiot.
I'm going to hear Orba say that. I'm gonna walk back to Grimari's office.
Thank you.
Yes, good
And you walk into the office, and Erland starts to feel this incredible, insatiable hunger. And you double over, like clutching, before getting your bearings. And it feels like you haven't eaten in days. And you sort of swear out of the corner of your vision that you see some of the plants moving and shifting. But anytime you sort of stare directly at one, it seems to stop. And you're not sure if you're sort of seeing that or if it's actually happening.
Okay.
And there's a few sort of things of note in the office as the two of you are now.
I would also like to, as we do that, close the door quietly.
Close the door. And the racks and rows of plants have been assembled kind of in a makeshift manner on tops of pieces of furniture. If the office was emptied of all the greenery, it would be very barren. It looks like, based on some of the lighter shading on the ground, that pieces of furniture have been removed from this office to make more room for storage, sort of over time, now that Grimari no longer occupies this office. But there are a few remnants of Grimari's furnishings remaining. A portrait on the wall of a well-dressed man. There's a large, elegant desk that has intricate carved designs. It has a couple of drawers. And finally, on the left wall, as you walked in, a notice board that has a couple items sort of nailed to it. And on the far window, the window that looks like it's locked, but it's really just latched. There's a little latch that sort of hooks over, so that you wouldn't have to break a lock or anything.
I haven't
But there's a
gone
latch.
to the window, by the way.
Yeah.
Orba, can Orba go to the notice board?
You can. You head over to the notice board, and it has 3 items pinned to it. An unlabeled diagram or map of some kind
Okay.
that looks like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
I this is like not happening.
You can
I
see Orba doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something you recognize. It doesn't mean anything to you just by looking at it right away.
Okay. What else? What else?
You see a page that looks like it was torn out of a book. That has a small bit of writing in the center of the page, sort of just with a border. And the page reads, "To Master Rogeni Grimari, one of our great scientific minds. Your brilliance seemingly limited only by the number of hours in a day. I expect that in time, Ki'ira will appreciate what they've gained in you. But Antisuyu will always be your home, and I do hope that you return someday. MB." And it's written sort of in a small font in the center. It looks like maybe a dedication page of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a third thing,
Yep.
a drawing
Yep.
of a young half-elf man. And the artistry is very good.
Why did you have that?
You see a younger version of Erland staring back at you from a time that must have been long ago. And it's not a caricature. There's no exaggerated features or any slurred scrawls onto this. Scrawled on. Yeah, I said that right. Scrawled on top of it. It's just a portrait. And he's wearing sort of some elegant robes. And In one aspect, it seems that Melody was wrong. Melody said that the picture might have been used, like people throwing knives at it, pins in it, whatever. But it doesn't look like that. You don't see any clean cuts or jabs or punctures. Some frayed lines, though. It gives you the impression that it was torn up and then put back together on this board. And that's the other item on the board. Those are the 3 items.
Is it secured to the board in a way that it keeps it put together, or is it like...
No, it looks like it had been put together in some way. It only has one nail that's sort of keeping it there on the board.
Orba takes that. And she's going to take the other page, too. She's going to take all 3. And I check in with Erland. Can I see that he's, like, going through something right now?
You see him, like, when he enters the room, you see, and there's, like, you can see him kind of opening and closing his eyes a little bit. You can't tell exactly what's going on, but he seems a little disoriented.
Erland, are you okay?
I'm fine. Open the window.
Okay, you don't want to search the room?
I'm going to search the room, but open the window in case we need to make a hasty escape.
Okay. I go to open the window.
And you open and look out, and it looks like you're on now a different side of the Institute. You peer down, it looks like one guy is similar to the other, moving back and forth below you.
Yeah.
On the same launch.
All right, how many drawers on that desk?
3 drawers.
I would like to open all 3 of them.
Great. Make an investigation check.
The thing I am most looking for in this room, by the way, is a first edition GGG. It's his office.
That's true.
Just to remind you.
I'm talking about what was
That's
this?
what I'm looking
Investigation?
for.
Oh,
Okay.
let me write that down.
Yeah.
Do you get my reasoning?
Yes.
Investigation?
Yep.
Oh, now I know.
16.
16. The desk has been emptied out pretty thoroughly, but you find a small box that's written on it, caution, poisons. And inside you find 2 vials of liquids that you don't recognize. Different colors, they appear to be 2 different.
I will be taking both of those and placing the caution poisons box back in the desk.
And there's also, having done a thorough investigation, jammed in sort of the back corner of one of the drawers, looks like it's sort of crumpled up, like someone took all the stuff out of the drawer, but this got kind of stuck in the back. A piece of paper with 2 names on it. Winston Muldoon and Valco Lavinia.
Okay.
And that's it. That's the only things you find.
Okay, so the portrait of the man. Is it Odell Barnabas III?
It is Odell Barnes, the second.
The second.
Yes,
One of the
it
Odells. I would like to quietly take it off the wall and see if there's anything written behind it or on
There
the
is
wall.
nothing written.
There's nothing written there?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Is there a name identifying that man? Like, would I...
Nope. He recognizes that.
Yep. Something special, Erland?
Where was GGG written in
Armand's office?
Yeah,
it was behind the portrait, yeah.
Is there anything, does this look different in any way?
It looks like it's not the exact same portrait. It seems like a slightly different pose that the man is in. So
Is there, is there like a signature? Is there like, or on the back of the painting, is it framed?
Yep, it's framed.
Is there a way I could like tear off, like is it the back of a picture frame kind of thing where I could like look behind or...
Sure, you take a peek, there's nothing there.
While he's
while he's
just
sort
in
of-
the roast, are the plants moving in my vision?
No.
Okay, great. Is there anything else I can look at while he's searching at the portrait in the desk?
You looked at the notice board, you look at the desk, you look at the portrait. That seems and a ton of plants are in here. That's the only other things that you see.
Well, one smells nice.
One smells nice.
And it's small.
There's sort of 3 that catch your eye. There's a bulbous kind of cactus-like plant that the spines seem to flicker between like they get spiny and then they sort of relax like into like hair and they kind of like and then they relax again.
Okay.
There's another sort of viney plant that's hanging down, and when it's touching another plant, it seems to like wrap around it a little bit. So it's like holding on to some of the other plants that it's touching.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's a sort of bamboo-looking plant that's sort of a large cylindrical structure, and it seems to kind of inflate and deflate as if it's kind of like breathing, almost kind of pulsing a little bit.
Can Orba like reach her finger out and touch it?
With that one?
Yeah.
You do so. It's kind of squishy,
Doesn't
but it doesn't
react?
react to you.
Okay.
It looks It's surprisingly soft given how it looks.
Okay. Yeah. And they're all that bamboo one's big, but are there? Okay.
It's not huge. It's not like a forest.
Okay.
Any of those three you could conceivably grab.
Yeah. Can I take the bamboo one?
Yeah, you do.
I
so.
just put it
Sort
in
of
my
gently, sort of place it into the bag.
bag. Cactus is gonna make a problem, so I'll take the bamboo one.
You do. So.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
I think we've done a pretty good job.
Do I recognize any of the plants from?
Make a perception check.
That one.
You do not. And there's a lot in here. It would take quite some time to literally look at each one. Yeah.
Out the window we go?
I think so. Yes.
Are you ready to jump?
There's guys below us, right?
There's one guy sort of at this area. Yeah.
One at a time.
Well, we could go together, and then I could cast Featherfall so we don't get hurt.
Better idea.
Featherfall. We literally descend slower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We will go slowly.
How high is it?
I mean, you're on the second floor, so,
Okay.
so you're like, I don't know, 20-something feet.
Okay, so we'll fall pretty quickly still, like relatively.
And there's again, on the sort of lining the edge of the Institute, there's shrubs, plants, and stuff. Like if you sort of softly landed in them, there might be a little bit of coverage there as you're sort of landing.
Yeah. Okay. I like shimmy with my. Oh wait, I'm gonna look. Where's the guard at?
So you can wait till he's just sort of past this window. Yeah.
Get out the window with me and get ready to go. I have my crystal.
Can we step? Is there like a ledge outside of the window?
A small one. Yeah.
Great. Can we step on that ledge and can we close the window?
Oh, okay.
If it would be difficult, I will let you do it, but it would be tricky. You'd have to kind of be balancing and sliding it down behind you.
Get ready to cast, and I'm
Ready?
gonna try to close it.
Make an acrobatics check as you're sort of teetering on the edge and kind of pushing.
11.
11. Okay, so you sort of wobble a little bit, but you manage to get it closed, and now the two of you are sort of you're on a very thin ledge. The two of you are stepping sort of there. Yep.
Ready? Where is he? Where's the dude?
Yeah, you
Okay.
waited till he's passed by.
3, 2, 1,
Jump.
and I cast
And
Featherfall.
and you descend, and you kind of land in this sort of shrubby, sort of. There's some foliage there that you can
Go, 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 go!
make stealth. And you're running and kind of jumping up to the wall.
Yeah.
Both of you stealth checks.
Yeah, I'm
Both-
putting my spell thing away.
Stealth check?
Oh no.
Yep.
7.
15.
15. So Orba kind of running ahead, and she gets to the wall first, make an acrobatics check, and Erland kind of slips a little bit on the gravel sort of surface, and sort of some stones go kicking.
He doesn't fall,
And you see
right?
the guy. No, he doesn't fall down, but you see the guard has been walking back and forth. He kind of stops, and he starts to turn.
Can I have held off on going over the ledge
Sure.
if I see and hear
Yeah,
everything?
but he just kind of
happen?
and then he kept going.
Did
Right.
you say there's a plant for coverage nearish?
Yeah.
Well, you just ran out of it, lining the edge of the
Oh,
institute.
I thought it was
you
along the gate.
No,
It's
no,
along
you
the
landed
building.
in the yes.
Oh,
in
okay.
those.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. Oh, okay.
Acrobatics for both of you.
Okay, great,
Yep.
great.
11.
Acrobatics?
Yep.
21.
21. So Erland he skips the gravel and then he sort of grabs the edge of the wall and propels himself over. And
Orba's a little slower.
Orba's a little slower, and it seems like you hear as you guys have gone over the other side, you hear kind of a indiscriminate like, "Hey, hello," and you can hear him kind of, "Hello."
Can Orba?
And it didn't seem like he seemed like he caught a glimpse of something, but he didn't see you.
Oh, okay, that's fine. As long
And you
as
see him kind of quickly like.
And like, as we're running, I would like to be guiding Orba towards the cemetery.
Okay.
What time is it? What time is it?
we're late.
It's past midnight.
We're really late. Let's go.
And we're sprinting towards the cemetery.
You guys head in that direction. And we go back to the cemetery, and we'll start things up a little bit so we kind of return to the thick of it as we come back. And you hear some spectral sounds start to emerge, sort of.
Oh, friends.
And you can see sort of again some of those glimmers in the gravestones popping up here and there. And you start to see a few creatures begin to rise up out in various spots.
Well, of course, they're all over the place.
Yep.
Just as Yannick predicted, the spirits, they immediately get out of the ground and they do exactly as he described. They get up out and they start to shake. And they sort of shake off. Some of them looks like dirt's flecking off, but even the spirits begin to shake and rattle a little bit. And they sort of, even without looking, begin to make the slow march towards the mortuary where Yannick is located. Who has the initiative board? You got that there?
Yep, I gotcha.
So we've got 2 zombies that are 11.
Okay, so after Graven.
The zombies. We've got 1 ghost, which got a 4.
Okay, tied with BZ.
And then 1 shadow. This guy's not the same as that, even though they look the same. I will give him a different color. This is a shadow man. He's got a nice collar on him. Oh, let me go to the graveyard camp. And the shadow is 17. A shadow.
Yep.
I think we're missing one.
There are 2 zombies. 2 zombies.
2 zombies, 1 ghost.
No,
a
sorry,
shadow.
2 ghosts and a shadow. Yes.
Oh.
That's the. Oh, he is
2,
different.
2,
Okay.
and 1?
Yes, these are ghosts. Those are zombies. That's a shadow.
Okay, so it goes Graven, Shadow, Zombie, Safira, BZ, Ghost.
All right. And we'll do the very beginning of this sort of mission as you guys sort of plunge into the depths.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, I don't really have range on anything.
Yeah, and again, these guys are 10 feet each, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. That guy's 80 feet away from you.
Yeah.
You know.
That one, though, I could...
That's 5, 10, 50... No, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That guy's 70 feet away from you.
But so I could move 10 feet and get a 60-foot range on
Yep.
it. Yeah. All right. Safira, you've got the long game. And I'm just going to move 10 feet towards Beezaura and cast Sacred Flame towards this zombie over here.
Great. Is that an attack roll or is it a saving throw?
Saving throw. Dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw. And that is one of the zombies.
True.
Let me just get my thing up. 14.
14 saves.
And doesn't do any damage?
Nothing.
So it's sort of the light and it vanishes.
Jesus.
That's it.
Who's next?
Zombies.
Zombies.
The zombies
Yes,
are up.
sorry. Shadow. I'm so sorry.
Shadow.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Great. So the shadow sort of gets up and it sort of moves forward at a quick speed. That's the shadow.
No.
And that's it. It only gets that far, and it seems to... It's moving forward quickly, but it doesn't make it all the way to you. Who's up next?
Zombie.
Zombies. So they lurch forward, and they're pretty slow. They make their way towards you. Sort of lurching
now
for
I can
you.
reach him.
Safira?
Now, seeing the shadow get close, I'm gonna take the what is it? Is it
The
like
ballista?
Already?
Sort of aiming right towards it.
Yeah, and I want to take aim like
Also, make a history check for me.
Then she's using action to reload it.
16.
16. So you
is an
have a little bit of
action
knowledge of
reload.
some of the undead spirits and creatures, just from some of your experience in life. Just for you as a player, the shadow is not as big a threat as the ghosts. You know the ghosts to be sort of more threatening, dangerous undead creatures. So if you want to change who your sort
Yeah,
of
so then-
preference is.
Considering that I know that.
So she
I'm
sort of
gonna
takes the 2 handles and...
turn it so that I can face that guy in the corner.
Yep.
And then kind of load it and like
Make an attack.
You hear this like foam
Ballista!
overhead.
19 to hit.
19 hits. So roll a 1d10 for
Right, it
damage.
does.
What's
1d10, just a flat 1d10, because it's just the impact of the glass.
No, it's the pyramid.
Yeah, 10 is nope, that's a percentage, it's this guy.
Thank you. 4. Does that's I just rolled
It's just a flat
that's
1d10,
it.
yep.
Okay,
4. So, and you see the canister, and it's like going top over bottom, and it makes the impact, and it's far away, so you can only just hear the bit of the glass, and it like flies off in the opposite direction. It's off the
100
map.
feet.
He's done.
Well, he's like over here.
It pushed him back 100 feet.
So he may show up later, but he kind of disappears in the
Golly.
distance.
He's like with
you
the
see
kids
like
now.
a burst of light in it.
Okay, and
Fires.
seeing kind of how well it works, she like kind of fixes. Just like, all right.
So it does take an action to reload. it if you end up-
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna move towards that guy because he came so close to me.
Great.
He's asking for it.
Fuck this guy.
So I'm gonna take my flail and just.
Great. Take a hit. Roll a hit.
That's not it. Where's my blue guy? 18.
18 hits. Roll for damage.
8. Is this the 8? Who's the 8, right?
8 now is.
Oh, no, that's a 10.
Yeah, 8
Where's
is
that
the
big
pyramid guy.
You said
I
that all.
say that for all of them.
Yeah, you do say pyramid.
Oh, the D10, that's the pyramid.
Pyramids, yo.
D6, that's a pyramid. It's two pyramids stuck together.
Flat pyramid.
6.
6, great. Great, so you take a good and it kind of hits it in the head.
Come near me again.
Okay.
Who's up?
Ghosts.
Ghost, great. So the ghosts, or ghost singular now that's
Yeah.
it's closer.
His buddy's
it's sort of-
in Timbuktu.
and it moves forward with pretty strong speed. It also seems, in addition, that it's not hindered by any kind of terrain. It's sort of
It can just
hovering
kinda
above
like-
the ground. Yeah, so.
So Casper.
5. So it's halfway through. That's a 5. So yeah. So it kind of, and Safira can kind of see it out of the corner of her eye in the back. You guys, it's hard for you guys to see that
Yeah.
ghost kind of coming for you. Yeah, that's it.
That's
All
the
right,
end
top of the lineup with Graven.
Yeah.
You got it, bud.
I'm gonna turn towards this shadow here, and again, light.
Light.
Cast some sacred flame. Yep, dexterity saving throw for that guy.
That's the shadow.
That's the shadow. Yep.
Make sure I have the correct stats up there. 8.
Fails.
Great. So roll for damage.
Smithereens.
Fails.
Oh my goodness.
That was. I think that was a mistake.
1.
Oh,
Oh no, it's just a flat one.
poke it.
Great. So, and it does seem like it sort of shakes off the light. Continues to move forward.
I'm gonna kind of come back to the corner that I was at, so I could actually be looking around the different corners.
So you can
and
kind of
stuff.
see
now I
the
see
other.
him.
Yeah, you can. So you sort of dart around the corner. You look to your left. You can see the ghost kind of approaching from that
Yeah.
end.
That was a smart.
Shadow.
Shadow. So it kind of moves closer. It's gonna move up 10, 20, 30. Goes up to Beezaura.
Oh, great. Double teamed. Thank you.
And it's gonna make 18 to hit.
Nope.
Great. So it ducks underneath it.
It's
The life you
zombies.
live.
So this one kind of limbers forward, and that one sort of just being struck is gonna go in for a swipe.
Come on. Come on.
Easy now.
This one might be a hit. 19 to hit.
Yep.
Look, it just hits me.
So it kind of boom, reaches out with sort of a big arm.
Not
And you
too bad.
take 6 bludgeoning damage.
I can recover.
Strikes you.
Oof. I'll get you back.
That's it.
Okay, after zombies is Safira.
I'm gonna, sensing the kind of movement behind me, just whip around with my arrow, just
Silver
right
arrow?
with the silvered arrow.
At
Right
which
at
one?
The shadow that.
Ghost?
The ghost. Sorry.
Great.
That moved closer. Yeah.
Go for it. Make an attack roll.
Okay. 22 to hit.
22 hits. Roll for damage.
Thought it might. Where's the D8? Okay. 4.
4 damage?
Yeah.
Great. So, and you can see the ghost doesn't even like try to dodge out of the way, sort of seeing an arrow coming, and then at the last second it sees the sort of glint of silver in the moonlight, and it kind of, and it finds purchase in the ghost where it normally may only have sort of
Nice.
passed through it.
There you go.
And I should just make a note somewhere that I have 19 arrows. So
Yeah, keep track of your silver arrows, definitely.
You have no paper.
My turn.
I know how much. Just
Okay. I'll start off with the. I think that's a zombie.
The one that you already did damage.
This
Yeah,
one?
the one
Yep.
that I already hit. I'm gonna take out the flail one more time.
Do it.
Wow, wow, wow. Is that blue one?
That's the sound a flail makes.
I think so. Yeah.
That's Matrix, I'm sure.
Ooh. I don't know why I check every time. 12.
12 to hit.
Yeah.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Yeah!
Sad Zom.
Zombies low arcana.
No.
That's pretty low.
8, right?
Oh.
Spearman.
2 guards. Is that what that was?
10.
10.
Superiority dice?
Yeah, so and it hits it. Anything else?
You don't have to.
I think I want to do an action surge. I don't know why I said it like that. And do an extra one and get. He's not dead yet?
Nope. You give him a good
mean,
whack.
he's undead.
Some sort of flesh went flying off.
Undead.
Got him.
Oh.
He looks pretty busted up, but
Let's get rid of him.
okay. She sort of whoosh, and with a surge of energy flashes back the other way. Make an attack roll.
15.
15 hits.
There you
Roll
go.
Finish it.
6.
6. So you swing and you see it kind of turn its head back after the strike and its head just kind of.
Yeah. Juicy.
Got him.
Who's
All
up?
set? Easy, ghost.
Ghost. Okay. So the ghost gets closer and it floats up to the top, up behind Safira. Oh my god.
Can we see up there? Do we have sight?
You
on
had
it?
sight of it. You saw it. You've now seen it go up there. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but now I wouldn't be able to like attack it. If
If you were right next to the building, no. But if you backed up a little
Okay.
bit, you'd be able to see it there on the top. Great. 14 to hit.
14 hits.
14 hits. Great. So you feel it sort of hand reach out, and it seems to like pull at your insides and pulls out. You take 11 necrotic damage
Okay.
as you sort of feel it pull out from
a
inside.
lot.
That's it. That's a ghost turn.
All right, Graven.
I didn't see that, but
You saw it go up there, and you maybe
Saw it go
heard
up there.
Safira sort of
Okay.
like feeling that.
so I'm gonna back like kind of.
I'll say if you're anywhere but this immediate surrounding, you could see up to the
Okay,
roof.
so if
Yeah.
I go 5 feet.
10 feet, or yeah, you have to go full 10 feet.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if
So
if
10
you
feet.
go this way, you can now see it up there. Yeah.
Let's go the other way. This way.
This way?
Yeah. So
Yeah, you can see it up there.
Yeah,
It's, it's sort of on the edge there.
recognizing that, I'm gonna see Safira, and as a bonus action, do a little stay strong and use like healing word
Okay.
up towards her.
That's just a bonus section, right?
Yeah, that's a bonus action. Healing word. Creature of my choice I can see gains 1d4 plus my spell casting ability,
Which is wisdom for you, I think?
which is I think it's +2, +4.
That's your attack modifier.
Wisdom is +2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1d4 +2.
Yep.
Yes, 5 total.
Right. So you feel kind of a surge of life.
So 5 HP, and then with the other hand, cast a sacred flame up towards it as well.
Same thing, the ghost.
Same
Right.
thing, yeah, the ghost. So
dexterity
dexterity
save.
saving.
8.
8 fails.
Great. Roll for damage.
I'm pretty sure it's the 8 again. Sacred flame. Oh man, 2.
2. Okay. So the light kind of descends and it recoils a little bit.
All right.
Do you want me to come up there?
And I no, and I like I'm very clearly
I
like
think she was gonna say yes to that.
Alright.
Shadow.
Great. So the shadow, sort of watching the zombie kind of splatter to its side, it goes in for another 20 to hit.
No. Yeah.
And it reaches in and kind of, with a spectral kind of finger, kind of scratches across you. And it does 7 necrotic damage.
Oh my gosh.
What is it? The
He's gonna get it.
You have heals. Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, after Shadow is zombies.
Zombies, great. So this guy's
Just like,
still can't make it there. They move very slowly. That's it.
BZ. Or no, sorry,
No, Safira.
Safira.
So, can I take, since I'm close to the ballista, and I feel this guy behind me, can I take a canister of the out and turn around behind me and like try to just like slam it onto his face?
Yes.
I love that so much.
Make a just unarmed attack on your thing there.
Yeah.
What's your plus to hit there?
3.
Great. So use that as the modifier. So make an attack roll and use +3 as the modifier.
13 to hit. It's not gonna hit.
13 hits.
Blinded by
Roll the
light.
1d10 for the canister, and you hear it kind of.
That
oh
is.
my god.
Where is the 1d10?
Graven
What
sound
is
like,
it?
Am I blind?
I'm like, yes.
This is 10, right?
Is she rolling the correct one?
No. Yes. Yeah, that is
Yes.
10. That is 10. That is 10.
Help this poor girl.
I'm sorry.
Someone help me.
That's my job.
11 to hit. I mean, 11.
11.
You can't roll an 11.
Oh no, I can't.
It's just a flat 10.
It's just a flat.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 9.
No.
I was adding
Great.
my unarmed striking thing.
Great. So you hear it, and it, and the ghost
Close
goes,
your eyes.
Yeah.
And because you're in such close proximity, you can't really cover your eyes and hit it at the same time. So there's this
So it's
blinding kind of disorienting
Okay.
flash.
Oh, gosh.
You have disadvantage on your next attack roll,
Okay.
Worth it.
Okay.
but the ghost
That
goes
was still pretty
flying in
bad.
the other direction.
Nice.
But you're sort of like
Yeah. Yeah.
blinking and flashing. Yeah.
That's so dope.
Who's
Me.
next?
BZ.
Gotta go after that guy.
Okay. Shadow there. Swing your flail.
That's enough. Great. 13.
13 hits. Roll for damage.
Oh. 3.
3. Okay. Right, so you swing it in, and again, that's similar with the arrow sensation. Like the mace starts to go in, and it kind of looks like it's going to pass through, but then it seems to like catch on it, and it kind of like pulls it off to the side, and you kind of yank it out. Yeah, and it kind of.
I'll get you.
Anything else?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's not go
Ghost.
too far.
Ghost. The ghost is how far was that? 10, 20. So it's just getting back on. So you see
gosh.
it's kind of like coming back. It sort of just made it back onto the into the battlefield. Is that the end of the round there?
Yes.
That's what we're gonna call it for the
The ghost shows up and they're like,
There's
"That
gonna be
guy."
10 more ghosts when we get back. That's
Plus
why.
2 friends.
Yeah.
So we'll pick it
Yeah,
up
friends.
in the middle of combat after watching Safira fling the ghost across the graveyard.
Oh, well, good thinking.
That's where we'll pick it up next time.
Yeah.
Pick it up
Oh my
right in the
goodness.
graveyard, and we'll jump right back into the action.
Right in the
Cutting
graveyard.
up his deceased brother while he's doing this.
That's his choice.
He might be done doing
Let's not
that.
think about it.
Yeah, that's his choice.
Let's not dwell.
He
Single-
just had to do it some, and then he had to try.
Single tear as he does the rest of his leg.
Oh my god.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. All the new
Crazy.
friends in the house, too. Old friends and new friends. Thank you so much.
Come back next week.
Yeah, come back and watch Safira use this crazy
Yeah,
device
very
that I imagined.
So cool.
Safira's feeling it up there.
I feel so fucking powerful up there. I'm like, yo, like.
And Graven, like watching the rooftop, you see it just like fly across the graveyard.
That's awesome.
Like a shooting star.
man.
Thank you guys so much. So we'll pick it up
Thank
there,
you.
and hopefully we'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Have a good night.
you